the Fandom Menace isn't just toxic white males, it's Toxic Femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge, with Miss Sarcastic Nerd, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, the mistress of mayhem herself, Miss Mary Mayhem.
Good Sunday evening to everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to Midnight's Edge. I am Tom Connors. With me is the ladies of the Fandom Menace. Let's start with Miss Sarcastic Nerd right below me. How you doing, Miss Sarcastic Nerd?
I'm doing fine, Tom.
Say hello to the fine people out there. And next to her is Geeky Candy.
Hello, you guys. I'm Candace, aka Geeky Candy, and I'm feeling about as toxic as a male assuming my gender tonight.
And right above her is the mistress of ceremonies herself, Miss Mary Mayhem. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Tom, how are you? Well, hi, guys. I am Mary B. I am the mistress of mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. So, yeah, let's do this thing.
Whip that card out, baby.
I love to take my Whammon card and chuck it, because that's exactly how much it means to me. So,
and I am doing the best I can. Thank you for asking.
Oh, we love you, Tom.
Oh, you did ask. You asked how I was. So, just before we get into the ceremonies tonight, I wanted to bring everybody up to speed as to what this was all about and where we come from. Of course, this is from the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel, which is a separate channel. So do check out Midnight's Edge After Dark. We have all kinds of stuff all week long on there for live podcasts and other fun stuff that isn't necessarily as serious as Midnight's Edge. But we're changing things a little bit over here on the main channel. We brought over a special show from there called Toxic Femininity, as you can see. And Toxic Femininity is a show for the diverse voices of the Fandom Menace to get a chance to shine and speak out, especially the fine ladies of the Fandom Menace, as you see here. And you'll see many different faces over the shows as we get going. But let's get things started tonight. We've got a lot to talk about, isn't that right?
Absolutely, we should.
Yes, definitely not another dull week.
No, not at all. And we do want to say, first and foremost, thank you to TJ. Isn't that right, Mary?
Absolutely. So, guys, we do have a wonderful friend of the channel, TJ, who's done a lot to contribute to this. He's done the graphics as well as the intro videos for you guys tonight. And we just want to give him a big old shout out and say a big old thank you to him, because he has just been wonderful behind the scenes for this for us. So thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
We appreciate
you.
Thank you for your designs. And speaking of, let's get to the news.
Hello.
All right, you guys. So I think I'm up first, and I just have to say, before I even get into my article, I wanted everyone to know I went into this with the utmost faith for live Disney shows to have a unique, once in a lifetime experience of something going right. And I have a text message here to prove my enthusiasm and my non-biasness going into this with Mary. You can clearly see here, Mary was a little bit ahead of me with the show when I was watching. And unfortunately, yeah, as you're about to find out in the article, I was sorely disappointed again by Disney. So here we go. This is regarding The Little Mermaid Live. And basically, do we have the article up? Hello? Yes, maybe?
Tom's working on it over there.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to just dive right into it. Pardon the pun. At some point, network TV needs to deliver truly live musicals when they slap the word live and an exclamation point at the end of the title. Or maybe they should just stop doing musicals altogether. In January, we had Fox's Rent Live disaster, which wasn't actually live thanks to an actor's injury. It was a recording of a dress rehearsal taped the previous night. Tuesday, ABC tried to pull off The Little Mermaid Live, a poorly executed mashup of the 1989 animated film celebrating its 30th anniversary and live performances of songs from the movie and a Broadway version on a cartoonishly decorated stage. It was a solid, full-throated effort by the actors and chorus members, but a spectacular failure of a live TV event that couldn't get past its own awkwardness. This Tuesday night would have been better spent merely watching the original film, or we can all just wait until Disney's big screen live action remake gets made. From its first moments, Mermaid Live proved its own failure of concept. Jodie Benson, the original voice of Ariel, introduced the mismatch of a production which abruptly transitions from animated birds to a live-action number in such quick succession, it was tough to follow the format. Some characters were introduced in live action, some via the animated scenes. Some characters had an actor double, while others, including key figure King Triton, were seemingly stuck in the prison of 1989 animation, never to escape. Starring Ali Cravalho, who also starred in Moana, as Ariel, sometimes, because there was another Ariel there as well. Very awkward and strange. Queen Latifah as Ursula, Shaggy as Sebastian the Crab, and John Stamos as Chef Louis. The singers did their level best with the limited stage time. So Latifah belted out classic villain anthem, Poor Unfortunate Souls, as if her life depended on it, with the commitment and verve that could have carried a fully live version of the show. Now, I just wanted to mention here, this picture was her coming down from the stage in full, giving me full Ursula Octopus vibes, and I was feeling it. But promptly after she landed on the stage, the queen had a quick slip of the octopus legs and a new dress reveal that took me out of the magic as quickly as I got in it. So if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see her in a black latex looking dress, complete, of course, with a octopus tentacle, supposedly mimicking a shell of some kind or a scarf, whatever. And then at one point in time, she did a mini twerk on the stage, and I caught that, and I rewound it, and I confirmed it with my own eyes, and it was definitely not the Little Mermaid that I remember. But at the end of Latifah's superb final notes, the screen cut to an animated Octo-Woman voiced by someone else, and the magic Latifah delivered was zapped, just like those poor souls. Despite Latifah's best efforts, the live-action scenes felt far too low-key. Stamos broke character at the end of his big song, Les Poissons, to say he wished he had played Prince Albert. And he literally said, I wished I played Prince Albert. No, he had his hands up like this. I wish I played Prince Albert. I mean, Prince Eric.
Yeah.
So that was really, really, really strange to see that. So that was like a pretty weird mistake on his part. But at the end, when it comes down to it, in terms of like overall, how he did, I'd say Stamos's character was the one that you could tell he thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very entertaining to see, and he did it very, very well. If you can tell the likeness in the picture there, he did fantastic until at the very end, that really weird thing. So much of the action during the live moments happened on a shadow screen behind stationary actors rendered immovable by fishtail costumes. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Shaggy, which I was super excited to see because I thought this was a great pairing with Sebastian, knowing his songs and knowing some of Shaggy's songs. I thought perhaps Disney did this one right. Perhaps. Well, Shaggy, who performed Under the Sea and Kissed the Girl, charmingly wore a half-finished crab costume that resembled a motocross outfit. Or if you look at it kind of closely, you can see perhaps there's a resemblance to Michael Jackson's Thriller music video. Very awkward, no claws. I was very disappointed because you're in the crowd of those crazy costumes and Shaggy just coming out here like a half-baked clam, not a crab. Anyway, he looked wildly out of place as he casually walked across the stage covered in almost creepy puppets. So we're going to scroll down just a little bit and you can see...
Mr. Lava. That is all.
Yeah. So you could scroll down just a little bit and see they actually did originally plan to have him in some crab claws. But for some reason that was nixed. And to be quite honest, at this point in time, it wouldn't have mattered in the overall production. Could care less. He looks awkward either way. All right, moving on. So the production had to add an awkward reprisal of Under the Sea so that the live actors had something to do once the credits on the animated film rolled. The first commercial break featured an ad for Disney Plus, a good reminder that viewers can, in just 1 week, watch the original Mermaid film, and soon this one, mercifully uninterrupted by commercials or awkward song breaks. Perhaps Mermaid Live was the most expensive Disney Plus ad after all. You guys, so basically I came into this really wanting to feel part of that world, but ended up a poor unfortunate soul in the first, or for watching it in the first place. And it made me miss the girl that made it a hit in the first place as well. So that's what I have today, you guys. What do you think, Mary?
Oh my God, I'm digging the puns. So, okay.
Thank you.
Candace and I had discussed this ahead of time. We were 110% on board with doing our best to give this a fresh start, right? Like, okay, we love The Little Mermaid. We grew up with this. This was our childhood. I spent my day attempting to get into this. I went out, I bought bunny ears for my TV because I don't have cable because it's not worth anything anymore. I went ahead and drove out to my mother's house, a 20-minute drive to get out there.
I feel so bad.
It was horrifying. I get on there, and as you can see in the text messages I messaged her, I was like, are you watching this? She's like, it just came on, and I was like, oh girl, this is so bad. So we get into this, and it is an immediate woke fest. The first thing that they decide to do is throw a black Grimsley up there. And look, I don't have a problem if you want to race swap a character, but you can't show me Grimsley, white Grimsley, 1 second, and then show me black Grimsley the next second and tell me that is the same person, because it is not. And you suck me out of the entire experience when you do something like that. The Daughters of Triton were a complete and utter woke fest. Those girls aren't related. There is no way those girls were related. And at that point, you have to ask why Triton wasn't asking some serious questions of his Queenie Pooh whenever things went down and she popped out a kid looking like that. That's not your daughter. So,
well, I gotta pop in 1 second because I'm the peanut gallery.
okay.
Didn't Ariel have sisters of different races in the old cartoon too?
No,
they didn't
she
explain
did not.
it. I thought
Her
she did.
sisters
But
had a different color
Hair color doesn't constitute race, Tom.
I thought there was one that was black. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Negative. No, they were all. Now, the joke was, of course, if you were in on the joke, that these girls had different hair color. And so maybe Athena, Triton's wife, was messing around a little bit. But you can still pass by. Like, you can understand why he might have gone ahead and said, okay, that's my daughter. That was an inside joke. Those girls were biracial across the color of the rainbow. And I don't have a problem with a rainbow of colors, but there was a different way to address this. There were other ways you could have gone about getting a measure of diversity in your cast without slapping a whole bunch of daughters up there who are supposed to be related and don't look anything alike. So the woke factor has now gone beyond any reasonable rationale. There's no way anybody who looked at this said to themselves, yeah, they'll buy that. No, it sucks you right out of the conversation. So anyway, I've ranted for a second. I know we're going to have open conversation here in a minute. Miss, I know you didn't see it, but I messaged you too.
I envy you, Miss, for not watching this for 2 hours. I envy you.
I just want to give my condolences to Candace because I was there for the love, all of the love that she had towards this show.
The tweet to Ryan.
Happiest, almost as if she was a little girl again.
I was for a moment.
Turned a very sad adult.
Gosh, so true.
We broke Candace with this one.
You poor unfortunate souls. I did not see it. No, I didn't. I did see the Twitter feedback, which was absolutely hilarious. There were people comparing Shaggy to Eddie Murphy from Delirious, to Michael Jackson's Thriller, as you said, making just tons of jokes and lots of disappointment at the costumes, at the song that Ariel did. What's her name? I can't remember. I watched some clips on YouTube, and Ariel was so like cardboard-ish. She wasn't Ariel for me in comparison to the film. You have the film back there and all of this personality brought through by a cartoon, and then there's a real person there dressed as Ariel who can't seem to get across that emotion and that personality. And she's a great actress and a great singer, and somehow I don't know if they didn't give her enough prep time or she didn't give herself enough prep time, because I know she was planning this alongside of the director or person who created it. But she was very flat for me. And Ursula was very disappointing. I absolutely love Queen Latifah, and I love Ursula. I love most of the villains in the fairy tales, but she was so cartoonish. It wasn't, you couldn't take her seriously. She's supposed to be evil. You're supposed to get across that she's evil, and all I'm getting is that she's a failed comedian that has weird hair and wants to be an octopus, but just wears dresses to compensate.
She identifies as an octopus.
She identifies as an octopus. She isn't exactly yet an octopus. I don't feel like they took this really seriously. It was almost as if there was no effort put into it. Shaggy didn't want to wear the gloves, so they were like, okay, don't wear the gloves. I mean, it's a job.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
And yet they shoved those giant crabs up on the screen. That poor kid that looked like a over-bloated like raspberry or strawberry or something that they just started chucking around the entire stage.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so pretty much my reason for wanting to see this in the first place was to get an idea of where their head was at regarding the new movie coming out next year. So I can safely say that I no longer am interested in the movie coming out next year, thanks to the live show. So thank you, Disney. I guess that even though I spent 2 hours on that, I won't be spending 2 hours in a theater for it. Silver linings.
Willing to let it go. I'm willing to let it go. Let it go. Yeah, bad pun.
We're going to go watch that instead, even though it's woke now.
It's all woke. There's not much we can do. Well, I know we do have a few super chats we want to get into, unless you ladies have any more that you would like to say on this particular subject.
No, I'm good.
Chats. I love super chats.
Any more fish puns we can make?
No, but this super chat looks fishy because it's from that Ryan Cannell buddy. I tried to warn y'all, the cringe was real, he says, with $2.
Okay,
thanks, Ryan.
To be fair, we were trying our best to give it absolute and utter.
They were being optimistic.
Yes, we were trying to be the kind of people who go into something without judging it ahead of time. And of course, it was Disney, so we were disappointed.
Let me just say, I was not optimistic because I have no soul. I'm pretty flat on most things.
And we also had one earlier from Sister Harrow, a good friend of the channel, Australian $2. Thank you so much. Anyway, moving along with the news.
Okay. Am I going now?
Miss Sarcastic Nerd is up next, Joe.
It's time to get really depressed, everybody. Time to get really sad and really mournful. And it's almost funny, the mournfulness of this. I can't even speak English. Okay. So, have you guys ever heard of the poet Emily Dickinson?
I think everybody has.
A wonderful, famous American poet from the 1800s. I don't know how there was a woman poet in the 1800s, but there was. And she got famous after she died. And they're making a show about it, and it's complete bullshit. If you want to... I know Tom's looking for the article right now, so I'm trying to buy him time.
We should have put it here.
There. Okay. So I'm going to read from a couple articles, 3 different ones, but, Tom, you show what you want to show. It's fine. So, everyone knows...
If we do that, I will get kicked off of YouTube.
I'm trying to be serious here, Tom. I know. Okay. First article. I'm just reading this clip of it. Everyone knows that Emily Dickinson did not do opium, twerk, hallucinate a giant talking bee, take a carriage ride with death in the form of Wiz Khalifa, cross-dress and crash a lecture on volcanoes right before having sex with her future sister-in-law, or tell Henry David Thoreau to go fuck himself. But what Dickinson, Alina Smith's new Apple Plus series starring Haley Steinfeld as a wickedly weird, horny, irrelevant teen version of the esteemed American poet, learn how to punctuate, presupposes maybe she did. No, she didn't. Dickinson is very obviously not meant to be a straight biography of Emily, who, for a long time, was believed to be a reclusive virginal agoraphobe who died sad and alone in a white nightgown. But the show reconsiders that version of Emily, in part by drawing on more recent scholarship that suggests we've been getting Emily wrong for decades. As creator Elena Smith recently told Vulture, everyone's free to invent their own Emily Dickinson, and this is mine. I don't in any way say it's the authoritative version, but Smith did do her research. She says she read every biography of Dickinson that there is, and consulted with Civil War historians, meaning at least some of the show is based on reality. No, it isn't. Seriously, this person is demented. This is a quote from Smith. All of it comes from her poems, Smith tells MTV News. When you read her poems, they are packed with wit and irony and deviousness and satire and force and desire. It's all there. People have an idea who they think she is, but they haven't spent enough time reading her work. I'm educated. One of the things that's been happening in Dickinson scholarship over the past decade is this huge investigation of the relationship between Emily and Sue. We have come to learn that the image that we perceive of Emily Dickinson as this virginal spinster in a white dress who didn't have any sexual experiences was false. It was created intentionally by her first editors, but when you look at who Emily Dickinson really was, of course you find somebody who was brimming with passion and desire, and that was expressed in all of her poems. People. Jesus. I mean, I will talk after. Here is a show. This is the third article. Here is a show that looks at Emily Dickinson, one of the greatest poets in American literature, a woman infatuated with death and dying, queer, and forced to hide or kill her own desires, a near recluse for many years and dead at 55, and asks the question, what if Emily Dickinson was in fact 100 years old? If Emily believes that the gender division of domestic labor is absolute bullshit and that marriage is a prison, its 19th century lads describe their homes as pimp or hail their friends by yelling sup. There's some sapphic sex between I don't know what that says, the poet and her sister-in-law, though not quite enough to scare the horses or to make it titillating. Death, who Emily describes as a gentleman sexy as hell, visits her nightly and is played with supreme dopeness by the rapper Wiz Khalifa, as is so often the case in revisionist historical dramas. Marie Antoinette. There is... I learned to say this word and I've forgotten. Anachronistic dancing in this instance, and kids twerk to modern crap. To put it more succinctly, Dickinson is like the favorite retooled either for the young adult audience of Gossip Girl or for literature nerds looking to tune in, turn off, and drop out. Whether or not this sounds like your personal idea of a good time will depend on several factors, not limited to your age, your interest in messing with history, and your belief in the sanctity of literary figures and their lives. Dickinson's framing of its heroine as a trailblazing feminist is at times curiously adjacent to what is defined as girl boss feminism, meaning a very specific brand of activism that relies on being sassy, brash, and unapologetic, and on owning branded merchandise that says things like Yas Queen or feminist as fuck. No sane adult woman I know enjoys being described as sassy, spunky, or quirky, etc. Just as no man I know has ever had such adjectives applied to him. I'm Miss Sarcastic Nerd, by the way. Her passionate obsession with her own morality is sometimes played off like the 19th century equivalent of modern kids tweeting about wanting celebrities to murder them or run them down in cars. You know, I'm not going to marry you, right? She tells her friend George Primley. I'm in love with death. You dropped a dead mouse in that poor man's lap, her mother chides in the first episode, reminding her of the last time a suitor called. You are not a cat, Emily. Steinfeld's delivery of her character's response, deadpan and dry as a pressed flower, is divine. No, tragically, I am a woman. So sad. Louisa May Alcott offers Emily some writing advice. Nathaniel Hawthorne can eat a dick, she shrugs. Am I right? Does the Emily Dickinson of Dickinson have much in common with the real-life poetess? I could not confirm or deny it. Dickinson's work is remarkable. not simply for its genius, but for its spookiness, its prescient freakiness. This Dickinson, other than when she is quoting from her poems, does not give the impression of an unusually towering intellect, nor an unusually intense connection to the natural or divine. I would assume this is intentional, since plenty of smart women in their early 20s happen to be, like, colloquial in their language. And most writers are far better on the page than they are at the dinner table or at parties, or when shopping for a dress. They're trying to be funny.
They're not, though. That's the worst part about this entire article, is that it's not funny. It's revisionist. And I want to go ahead and let you get your thoughts out on it. I'm sorry, Miss. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's a bit more, but it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I mean, let's be serious for like 12 seconds. Emily Dickinson is a figure in history, an important female figure in history, and is already feminist by definition. She already stands as someone that girls can aspire to become like, to write poetry in the same sort of passion and intelligence that she has for being in the age that she is in and being oppressed as she is. But Emily Dickinson is not a millennial. She is not a dumb girl who goes to parties, drinks, twerks, and just magically has the passion and intelligence of someone in her time. That's stupid. They're stupid. This is not art. This is a girl who went to college, read about Emily Dickinson, couldn't connect to her on her level because she doesn't know what it's like to isolate yourself. She doesn't know what it's like to sit in your room and write poems for hours and hours and hours and be so connected with that. And so she made her into a party girl so that she could have some form of connection with her. Oh, she's not like that. The historians have it wrong. I read all about her. She's actually a freaking bitch that no one could connect to at all. Being someone who enjoys reading, who in high school would really connect to someone like her, that's insulting. To have a literary figure that I could look up to, that I care about, and just hate her, that's so disrespectful to her, and it's just painfully stupid.
I saw the peanut gallery come in. Hi, Tom.
Hey, boo.
So I was looking at this earlier, and you were making a statement, and we were having a discussion back and forth. And so, for those of you who aren't familiar with Emily Dickinson, she was a spinster. She essentially died a virgin, right? And she went to her grave essentially a recluse. She stayed solitary in her own sort of little bubble, with few interactions with few people. And the people that she did interact with, she interacted with in a very close and very personal way, and she was very sort of tight with them. She was not a millennial. She was not a psycho. She was not out there acting like a crazy feminist. Okay, she was a spinster. And so, and I believe you said me earlier you were saying something, Miss, about that they had relayed that she couldn't possibly have gone to her grave a virgin because no one writes poetry like that unless they've had sex.
It was basically what they were insinuating with that, with saying that she, like, they say she's a virginal agoraphobe, but she's not. She isn't. She can't be, because I'm not. And I like poetry.
Allow me to give a little insight to all you little fellas out there, and I'm sure most females will understand where I'm coming from with this. Girls who write poetry, girls who have time to pour their soul into paper like that, aren't having sex. That's not something that goes down. And in fact, most of the time, at least when I was young, and look, I remained celibate until I was about almost 19 years old. And all I did was write poetry, poured my soul into journal after journal, and expressed my deepest, darkest emotions and desires. And then when I, got laid, that stopped happening so much. So I don't know how they're doing this equation. I'm not standing here claiming to speak for Emily, but Emily spoke for herself. Emily did that. And they're taking these words and they're twisting them and then they're putting into television and calling it art, calling it entertainment. No, it's revisionist. It's stupid. And it pushes your narrative, and you're wrong. You're so wrong.
I have a different take on this. So yeah, real quick, I just wanted to say this reminds me of a script that couldn't make its rounds the way it was supposed to in Hollywood. And somehow someone got a hold of the script and decided, let's put Dickinson on the front of it. Let's just merge the two. It feels like Watchmen, sort of, because when Watchmen, a lot of the times when I watched the first episode, it had nothing to do nothing to do with the Watchmen I knew. And so I was super confused. I was like, where did this come from? Where are we now? What is this? And I was so bewildered by this, and I couldn't stomach it by the end. I almost lost my dinner. I swear to goodness, it was awful. Anywho, moving on to Dickinson. I feel like this is the same situation. It seems like there's these scripts that just kind of float around, and they're looking for the first person to snap at it, and they just throw on something that it's like ad libs. Let's just throw this in there and this in there. Is this woke enough? If it's not, let's make her gay, or we can go ahead and make her, snorting opium or whatever it is. I have no idea. It just seems like it's pandering to the like nth degree at this point, when you have to take a public figure like that and add so much to her that it's completely unrecognizable to the original public figure in the first place. Mm-hmm. So what's the point?
It's a bunch of revisionist history, and we'll get to more revisionist history when we get to the Star Wars portion of the story, so I know some people are really antsy to get to, but since they didn't listen ahead of time, like Master Rebel, ISK, whatever his name is, no one tuned in to hear you talk about Little Mermaid. We understand, Master Rebel. You want to get to the Star Wars stuff. You're very anxious. I feel sorry for your girlfriend, though. You're quick to get to the game, man. Have some patience there, buddy. Okay.
We're there for you. We promise. Just give us a moment. We appreciate
the super chat. We're getting there, guys. Next time, we'll make sure that the main story is first. That is my fault. Adam Wolford does have a super chat that is relevant to this, though. He says, it's them rewriting the history and the people in it. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So what else did we have on the agenda? We got one more super chat.
I wanted to get to this other comment that I saw in the chat, because we are paying attention to the chat, guys. Ali Radikali says, imagine stealing someone's name just to create a bit of buzz for your self-insert historical fan fiction. Pathetic. And it is pathetic. But this is the world that we live in terms of entertainment today. They take things and they twist the narrative in order to suit their own particular desire for agenda, to push whatever agenda it is that they want. And never mind the historical reality of that person. Never mind that you are slandering a human being who lived their life in celibacy. Never mind all of that, because you had your agenda pushed. You had what it was that you wanted to say prepped out there, and you used the name of a well-regarded person in order to do so. Never mind that measure of slander. It is infuriating. And let's go ahead and put this out there. It's disrespectful to women. Sorry, Tom. I was just a little ticked. So.
Yeah, well, Hollywood's notorious for that. Just keep looking up the ladder.
That's fine. And we do have another super chat, one from our good friend Jaybird. If I can bring it up here. It was here just a second ago. Where'd it go? I had it. Glad to see $50 from Jaybird Third. Glad to see Toxic Femininity on the main channel. I just wanted to say congratulations and good luck. Thank you so much for that, Jaybird.
Thank you.
So what else did you have for us, Mary, before we get into the Star Wars talk?
All right. So this one's actually kind of, okay, so I had to amuse myself with this article, and it's not particularly funny when you're looking at it just at its base value, but I have to laugh at this guy because he's a complete and utter shit show. So we do have an article. This went down a few days ago. Disney World princess left shaking and crying after allegedly groped her during her photo op. So this comes to us from foxnews.com, and we'll go ahead and scroll down here a little bit, and I will pull up the photo for you here in just a minute, Tom.
It's gold. It's gold.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to pull up the photo for you here in a minute, because I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to look at this guy and just absolutely rag on him as soon as possible. So, a Walt Disney World guest was arrested and charged with battery for allegedly groping a princess character while taking a photo, a police report confirms. Brian Sherman, 51, was visiting the park with his wife around 12:10 p.m. on Saturday when the pair went to take a photo with Disney World characters at the grotto area of the Magic Kingdom. So they have not revealed the name of the actual princess who underwent the groping, but the grotto, that would imply that it was Ariel. So poor thing. During the photo, Sherman and his wife sat on either side of the Disney World employee who was dressed as a Disney princess. Before the photo op, Sherman repeatedly told the woman the princess she was portraying is my favorite. The type of Disney princess she was costumed as was not shared, although if it's at the grotto, like I said, it's probably Ariel. According to a police report shared with Fox News, Sherman placed his right arm around her shoulder, making her immediately uncomfortable. As her coworker was tending to the line, Sherman allegedly lowered his arm until he was cupping the woman's bra. Other cast members told Sherman to pose in a different way so he would not be touching the woman. However, before moving, the man placed his hand under the woman's costume and cupped her breast with his right forefinger and thumb, with only the thin skin-tight fabric between, police said. The Disney PhotoPass photographer took the pictures, which the employee used to identify the man to law enforcement. Once Sherman left, the woman began shaking and crying, and the grotto area was closed immediately, according to the police. The Disney princess reported the incident, which she said lasted about 4 seconds, and police officers were called to the scene. Sherman was arrested and charged with battery, which is a really weird thing to charge him with. You would think that it would be sexual assault, but according to reports, the woman plans to press charges and would testify in court. In a statement to Fox News, a representative for Disney World said police handled the incident as soon as it was brought to their attention. Orange County Sheriff's Office was on site and immediately stepped in. This is now a law enforcement matter. Everyone should feel safe at work, and we encourage cast members to come forward in any uncomfortable situation. Now, here's what I would like to add to this. I am so proud of this woman for coming forward and being willing to testify. She didn't go to Twitter. She didn't go to social media. She didn't go blab it all over the internet. She took action, which is what a legitimate victim does in these circumstances. And look, I'm not saying that women don't at times feel the need to sort of step back and maybe try to isolate themselves. I'm not saying that that's not the situation for some women, but you don't go blabbing it all over social media. You go to law enforcement if you're going to go to anybody at all. You go to a close friend, or you go to law enforcement. You go to someone you trust, or you go to law enforcement. And this woman did exactly what you're supposed to do in that kind of situation. And I could not be more proud of her for standing up and doing the correct thing that you are supposed to do in a situation like that. This guy is scum. He deserves to fry. Candace, what did you think about this?
I just want to know, do they give him a job? Because he seems to be a perfect fit with all the upper management at Disney.
Ooh.
Did y'all get that one? Did y'all get it? Okay, good. Good. All right. Yeah. And do we have a photo of this guy? Because, it's very interesting to take a look at him. I have to say, I know all the other 7 dwarfs that Snow White has, but if she had an 8th, this pervy would be called Gropey for sure, because he looks kind of crazy, and I think that fits very well. Let's see if we can get Gropey up there. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Okay, Gropey. Yeah. How unfortunate. And I don't know if anyone caught that when she was reading it. He did it right next to his wife too. So, wifey. Ooh, I don't know about this one. We might need to move on from him. I think you could probably do better. So, very interesting to see. I mean, the guy's got confidence. I'll give him that, considering. But that being said, no, there's no place for men like him at Disney. It's one thing to have to look for kind of weird creepers by themselves, just going around, looking at people strange. But now you have to watch husband and wife duos assaulting princesses. So it's just like it just never ends. Things get worse and worse, and here we are. All right, Miss, what about you?
I kind of want to see the other shots of his mugshot where he turns his face to the side, because I feel like it's either dented inwards or just flat.
I don't think he has any teeth.
Protected by a shovel. Just saying.
What was it? I had one here. So children, take him as a warning. This is how you'll look if you play in traffic. I got a million idiots. I was prepared for this.
30 years old, if you can believe it.
Well, look, and the truth is that most men would never dream of behaving this way, right? Like, and they're going to run around, the crazy feminists are going to run around and they're going to use this as an example of toxic masculinity, right? They're going to set this guy out there front and center, and they're going to say, oh, look, toxic males, right? But the fact of the matter is this is not how real normal men behave. This is not an embodiment of a normal man. This is I promise you guys.
Unless you work at Disney in the upper levels.
Any similarity between this guy and your average Joe is purely coincidental, I assure you. Like, even down to the chromosomes. I'm not even sure that this guy is human. As far as I'm concerned, he can take a long walk off a short pier in the grotto. That would work just fine.
I think that's about all the time we need to give him, to be honest. I want to know what's next because his face is just
because
me.
some of the people in the chat are proving exactly what the point this show is about. So we'll get to the Star Wars because they don't want to hear about what women really want to talk about, do you know?
Well,
we just
that's my fault. I should have put the main story first.
Maybe for future reference, we should let you guys know.
Some people just are antsy. That's all right. It's all right.
There
Mr.
are
Wolverine
articles for
007 did have a $5 super chat. Howdy, how are the lovely ladies? Glad to catch the stream tonight. Always look forward to what you have to say. Thank you so much, Mr. Wolverine 007, good friend of the channel. Kiki Hideout send a Mexican $50. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts, ladies, on the Me Too movement and its assumed corruption? Well, I think you guys kind of already answered that. As long as women go to the proper authorities, I mean, of course, you can give 2 seconds each on how you feel about it, but I think you kind of hit on that pretty well right in the whole ordeal, Mary, when you brought it up in the first place, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm not against a woman feeling like she's maybe trapped or isolated in a situation like that. And absolutely, I can understand why a woman would feel like she can't necessarily go forward. But what a woman who has been victimized like that does not do is go to social media and start hashtagging everything out, because that's not how you get real justice. There's no justice involved when you take that kind of action. It's not appropriate action. A woman who's been legitimately victimized does one of two things. In my experience, she either goes to the proper authorities and she expresses to them, hey, this is what happened. I'm happy to testify about this. I'm happy to pursue this to the proper ends in order to receive justice. Or typically they tend to clam up and they're willing to bear that burden alone. And I'm not saying that they should. I'm not saying that that's a good way to approach it or deal with it. But I am saying that that's typically the way that a woman who's legitimately been victimized in these kinds of situations does deal with these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Candace.
Agreed. I mean, well, you covered it perfectly. I just, it's a sad situation, and I'm ready to talk about the next big thing, which of course is Star Wars. I, like the rest of the chat, have a lot to say about Star Wars as well, and I can't wait to get started. So you guys, let's go.
I know I wanted to not leave Miss out of her opportunity.
Oh, Miss,
did you want to say something quick about the Me Too thing?
I am so sorry, Miss. I thought you were before me, but it was Mary.
It's all good. We're going to talk Star Wars, and we're going to find out our thoughts on the Me Too movement later.
All right. Well, here's what I have here. So tonight we're going to be discussing the Doomcock leaks, and the sort of the rumors that have been kind of flying around all over the internet for the last couple of days. And I have a basic rundown here of what it is, because we don't have an article for that. We do have the commentary from the video, which I've made basic sort of summary of right here. So as per Doomcock in his video, and as he said, he has 3 separate sources to confirm this for him. So we're going to take this, of course, with some measure of a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, if you trust Doomcock, I of course personally do trust Doomcock, and I actually saw an article earlier that did corroborate at least portions of his story. I'm happy and prepared to take this with a small grain of salt, and willing to kind of up front go, yeah, I think that's probably legit. So a few months ago, a nearly finished movie was tested to an audience that was 1/4 Star Wars, Star Wars nuts, as he described it, 1/4 Star Wars fans, as he described it, 1/4 Star Wars fans who don't buy the merch but are well aware of it, and then, as he described it, 1/4 of them were people just as likely to watch the next Chipmunks movie, which I thought was a fantastic way to describe that. So out of that, 100 others, and also 100 others who were associated with making the film. This original version was the Kathleen Kennedy / J.J. Abrams version of the film. And the first act got a 65, which on the scale isn't too bad. The second act scored a 12, which is absolutely horrifying. And then the third act scored a 4, only receiving points from the Chipmunk group. So after running through half a dozen more test groups, the average score was about 29. And you can imagine at this point, the shit hit the fan with Bob Iger. So he decided to sit in on the last screening of it. Turns out Ray doesn't just win. Rey doesn't just win, she beats the Emperor's ass. She whoops him down. And all of the screeners, when they saw it, burst into laughter. That's how bad this depiction was. So she didn't just go full Mary Ray Sue. She went absurd to even the people who were just like, ooh, I thought we were okay with that. No, that's dumb. That's dumb. She mud stomped him, as he said in the article. So Rey doesn't just win; she beats his ass. So Iger apparently went off and ordered a redo of the movie. The executives at Disney. So the executives at Disney seem to be both somehow capitalist and woke. I don't know that those two go together, but hey, I like money too. I'm just not woke. So Iger has apparently did his own version, and it tested at 65. Now he added Anakin and Luke in the flesh to the mix. We don't know exactly what that means. That's just what we reported. So Anakin and Luke in the flesh to the mix. That also did not test particularly well. Iger's own version tested at a 65. So then after the second failure, Bob Iger decided to drag George Lucas back into the mix. And it was at that point that they decided to incorporate parts of J.J. Abrams and Kennedy's movie, and then parts of the Bob Iger movie. And then George Lucas decided to introduce a secret Skywalker to this version of the movie. Now, we don't know exactly what that means either, but it was screened and scored at an 88, which is relatively good. So instead of it being like essentially a 75% of the movie being redone, it was about 25% of 3 different movies that got redone. So you do the math on that one. And apparently afterwards, they spent about $300 million to try to rectify this situation after the meltdown. I'm not going to lie. I'm so highly amused. I cannot see straight. I hope it goes to hell in a handbasket. I would love to sit here and watch them choose the version that is most absurd, stick Rey up, and let her have the beatdown. Let her have the beatdown. At least give me the lulls. At least let me laugh at something at this point, because the absurdity is all I have left anymore. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Candace.
I'm going to skip me and go to Miss, because I feel bad that I skipped her last time. Miss, you up next.
Don't worry about it. Okay. I love this. I love it. It's their see the love. They are going to just dig themselves in a nice, lovely little grave, and I'm not going to the funeral. I'm just gonna hang back, read me some EU eventually, and watch the world burn. It's amazing. It's the most beautiful train wreck ever. They seem to just think that they can fix this story. And that tells me a lot. That tells me that they don't see it as a story. They see it as a cash grab. It just furthers the whole, they don't care. They don't care about Star Wars. They don't care about stories. They just care about making money. And they're reshooting things because they want to make money, but they're losing money. It's very confusing. At this point, I just think they're really stupid. They just are really dumb. They have no idea what they are doing. J.J. Abrams' version failing makes me happy on the inside. Makes the soullessness kind of lighten a bit. I do not like him. He is a visual. He's amazing at visuals. He can present you with this visual orgasm, but he cannot write a story. And that is very representative of the feedback he got for his version. He's an idiot. And Kathleen's an idiot. And Iger's not very smart either. Idiot. And Lucas can do whatever he wants to do. He can try to help. But as much as I care about Lucas and I appreciate for what he's done to create the universe that we love, I don't think that even he can fix this.
Well, I think we all kind of sort of recognize that Lucas is great with storytelling aspect of it, but he's pretty terrible when it comes to execution. So I know it's your turn, Candace. I just thought that was interesting.
I'm just so surprised that not having more characters on the screen with lady bits under the belt doesn't just carry this franchise on its own. I mean, isn't that what they always tell us, that the force is female, and that having more women directing and casting and acting and producing, that's going to be the key to success in 2019. And here we are.
Mhm.
Here we have females, us, absolutely pissed that this is what they've done with our Star Wars. Okay, this is not the Star Wars we knew to love. This is not even a shell of Star Wars that we knew to love. This is something entirely different. I am numb to it. I have no feelings whatsoever. That when they showed us the trailer with wet dog looking, Kylo on top of that, I feel like at some point when they first shot it, they said, "Okay, guys, he's not looking threatening enough. Let's take off the helmet because his face." Yeah, no, that didn't work, guys. Let's make it rain. Also, yeah, no, that didn't work either. We've been here before. Where's the story? Where's the story? Quit trading creative writers for more vaginas and staff. Nobody needs that. Ridiculous. So anyway, going to the story, here's what I think. If we're going to have a Darth something or a new Jedi, a new Skywalker, or whatever's going to come out, I think Misa thinks it's Jar Jar Binks' time to shine. So yeah, why not just throw Jar Jar in there? I think Jar Jar he was one of the more memorable parts of the prequels. Sure, let's give him a part in here too. Why the hell not at this point? Who the fuck cares? All right. Also, I watched The Force Awakens twice. I enjoyed Rogue One once. I saw it Last Jedi once. Walked out of Solo in the theater, couldn't handle it. And I do not plan to watch Rise of Skywalker. That's where I belong.
Well, and I do think it's an interesting thing that they've tried so hard to push this diversity within the whole Star Wars Lucasfilm behind the scenes stuff. But I've never seen a more inept leader than Kathleen Kennedy. And the funny thing is that this empowered woman who sits behind there on her little podium, on her little throne with her scepter, telling everybody how empowered women are, is absolutely happy and thrilled to allow men to come behind her and clean up all of the messes that she's created, not step up, take any personal responsibility. Isn't it funny that this Frankenstein of a monster is about to come out, and Bob Iger has had to step up multiple times for her at this point and take responsibility for the decisions that she has made while she led up these projects, and she's allowed to let the men step up and take responsibility for that. But you're a strong, empowered woman. You're completely and utterly capable of handling all this. Where are you, Kathleen? And why are we being handed a Frankenstein monster of a movie for the final end of the saga? We're not talking even about a trilogy at this point. We are talking about the saga that you are trying to end up here. You are trying to take us out in a beautiful, cohesive way, and you have no ability to do that. So you've had man after man after man try to step in and rectify the situations that you've created, and you're nowhere to be found. Where's your strong empowerment? Where are you now? Where is all that? You strong, empowered woman. Where are you? Why don't you man up a little bit?
Movie bad, money good.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose out on the merchandise because, all that stuff's already on clearance from what I've seen on some other people's channels. So good luck to them. Good luck.
I just had to pop in and say Bob Iger was recently in an article with Bloomberg where he stated once again that not only does the buck stop with him on Star Wars, he has creative control now.
Interesting.
Very interesting point.
Control.
And I also want to say sorry, go ahead, Mary.
No, I was just going to say, I thought she was the head of Lucasfilm. I thought the Force was female.
Not anymore. And not only that, I think it's interesting how this goes to what you were saying, Mary. Out of over the 80 films that she's been a part of, not a single one has had a female director on it. Not one.
Look,
that is all.
I don't think it matters at the end of the day whether or not you select a female to be in charge of this stuff. I don't think it matters because I don't particularly.
Yeah, but out of 80 movies, not one female director, and then this is her whole thing. She she's a poser. That's my point. But anyway, that's what I was getting to.
But she can have really cute shirts made up for marketing that make her look like she's super duper wokey, guys.
Oh, because it's so important.
Good luck, Disney.
Here's the funny thing is I'm not heading into a theater to watch your woke fest. I'm not going to do it because I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a sexist. I don't care what's between a person's legs. All I care about is whether or not the product that you put on the screen before me is worth the $12 that I spent for admission, worth the freaking $20 that I spent on snacks to come and enjoy this. Am I going to get sucked into this story? Am I going to get to watch something other than a Mary Ray Sue up on the screen who can do absolutely anything that she so desires? I do not have any desire to watch some freaking overpowered female who I have no clue why she's this powerful or how she got this way, except the
Parkour Ray. Parkour Ray.
She's going to go up there and curb stomp Palpatine. No, thank you. It took both Luke and Darth Vader to defeat Palpatine the first time. It took the change of a heart of someone who was supposed to be beyond redemption. That's good storytelling. When I get to watch two men work together in tandem with one of them having a complete and utter 360 turnaround in the last crucial moments, that's good storytelling. That's compelling. Not Mary Ray Sue walking over and curb stomping Palpatine because more empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all going to be explained in the books that come afterwards. And
do you know who they're written by? Do you know who the books are authored by? Do you know what the name of the female author? Ray. Ray.
All the lovely comic books and books that are going to come out, they're going to explain everything to you. It's going to be all right. You just got to learn how to read.
Yeah. It just never ends. It really doesn't. And you know what the funny thing is? They're working on a whole nother trilogy after this. But good for Benioffs and good for the Double Ds to get the hell off the stage, recognize Twitter and what's going on there, and finally taking in what it is that we have been saying and exiting gracefully instead of some of the other directors and producers up there who want to make movies based around supposed fans, toxic fans like Knives Out and whatever. Yeah, there's clearly two kinds of producers in Hollywood, the kind that can take a hint and the kind that cannot. Yeah, good luck to Ryan after this one. I can't wait to see how it does.
That was the other thing that I heard running around was that they can't keep any qualified people on set to direct these things. They can't get anyone qualified because at this point, the conversation has essentially been like, okay, so if you don't want to have your name completely besmirched by this ridiculous inability to actually craft a product, then stay far, far away from Lucasfilm right now because you have your own reputation on the line to protect here. And so no one qualified is willing to touch this.
Yep.
I'm still cleaning up.
Don't blame them.
Over here.
It's fine.
No, I got to say this to this. The thing is, Kathleen Kennedy should have been stricter with the directors. That's the problem. That's what that whole Variety article was about, is she was too strict with all the directors except for one. And we all know who that was.
But we know what that strictness was leaning towards. So it was leaning towards the agenda, not Star Wars. Look, all you needed to do to fix this mess, Kathleen Kennedy. Come on, Kathy. Let's have a talk. Let's talk woman to woman real quick. You'll talk to me, right? Right? Because Star Wars is made for me now. We'll have a chat, right? You'll talk to me, Kathy? Okay, good. Have a seat, sweetie. I'm going to school you. All you needed were two things to handle this Star Wars stuff. Just two things, okay? Star Wars fans and a script doctor. That's all you needed to handle this mess.
They had George Lucas's story.
They did. They did. You could have.
They had a story. They made a conscientious effort to not make it work. They literally tried harder to not make it work than the easier route of taking what they were given and make it work. It was literally harder to have this flop than it would be to just have gone with the story that George gave them. But whatever.
Yeah. Never mind at this point. Let's just quilt patchwork a Frankenstein monster for the finality of the saga. The saga that I might add ended beautifully with episode 6, was all wrapped up with a nice, neat little bow, including the prequels. The prequels were gone back and done afterwards, right? You didn't even have to work your way into the prequels and make sure that all fit really well and nice and neat around anything. No, you had an open open room to run. You were in a field with nothing but freedom because this all happened after the wrap up, right? You could have gone anywhere and done anything. The prequels managed to at least be cohesive, even if you're not a prequel defender, which I am not, because I recognize the many issues that entire trilogy had, right? Even if you look at the prequels and you say, okay, it had a lot of problems, you can't deny that the story itself was sound. You had nothing but room to run, Kathleen, and you were so concerned with my vagina that you couldn't get it right. You had 3 movies to get this right, and you couldn't do it. Where you at, girl? Where you at? Sorry, I know I rant. I tend to rant, guys. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I will get angry. So
just in the ego that they have to think that they can put something out better than what originated the entire cult following in the first place, what George gave them, the egos that they have in Hollywood to think that whatever came before them, before they were born, because I'm sure some of these writers they're not boomers, I bet, right? I bet there's a lot of like fresh out of school kind of, wonderful, diverse writers, I'm sure. And, it's just unfortunate that they can't see what's right in front of them sometimes and value what's right in front of them sometimes. They have to find a special way to work around it to put their name on it and make it feel like it's theirs. And in doing that, they've stolen it from us. And I don't like it one bit.
Kathleen fan fiction. This whole remake shit has been fan fiction over fan fiction over fan fiction because they can't come up with something new.
Isn't that, what was it? There was look, and I will fully attest. This is just something that I heard as a rumor, and so I'm just putting it out there. So I guess rumor alert. That essentially Rian Johnson stole a fan fiction off of the internet and then made it woke. Did you hear that rumor as well?
Fan fiction out there that kind of matches the Last Jedi story, step by step.
Oh, well. Not surprising.
My curiosity is piqued about the MacGuffin, or I'm sorry, not the MacGuffin, the secret Skywalker, guys. Oh my God, who's it supposed to be? Are we supposed to speculate on this like we did after The Force Awakens? Are we supposed to be excited? Are we supposed to be sitting here wondering and doing little connecting yarn dots and going, oh my God, I get it could be this person. I bet it could be this. Oh,
which girl is it going to be? Which girl?
I wonder who the secret MacGuffin is. I don't care.
Does she have a sister? I hope she has a sister. That would be the best, stupidest thing ever to watch. Just, oh God, I hope that's the case. Oh, I hope that's the case.
So that she's
just
not the
all.
bestest ever. So she has to be jealous of her sister.
Would
upset women, wouldn't it? Sorry, miss. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was just gonna say, I would be wildly amused if Rose Tico was the Skywalker.
Yeah, that's where she's been all this time, actually training, right?
She was in a forced coma. It was a forced coma, guys. She just Skywalker instead of evaporating.
Down by this. I'm just it's so mentally draining to see the news about Star Wars these days. I'm like, I want something good. Is it too much to ask? God.
I think it may well be at this point, because I think we just need to own the reality of this situation. Whatever popped into Kathleen Kennedy's and Jar Jar Abrams' brain on any given Thursday morning is what they ran with. He was sitting there in the bathroom on the toilet on his phone playing an app, and then he had it pop into his head. Oh my God, guys, I'm just going to have her curb stomp Palpatine. That'll bring everybody back. It'll be wonderful. It popped into his head on a random Thursday morning, and he ran with it. And that was what we got, because no one was there to put a stop in place. No one was there to check this and say, you know what? As a fan, as a legitimate fan, someone who is immersed in this culture, someone who spends my time doing this stuff for fun, I can tell you this isn't going to play well to your audience. No one put that in place. It seems crazy to me that no one put that in place, but they didn't. I don't know why.
It's just all too much, and I am excited to not spend money on it in December. Got better things to do, like maybe go see Cats.
Cats. Oh no. Fever Dream City.
For those of you who don't know me, and this audience, obviously, I don't think y'all know me yet. I don't want to see cats. Like that's a nightmare for me. I'm not going to give myself nightmares from that. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, I'd probably prefer cats over that piece of trash they're going to put in the film. So
are going to be amazing.
Yeah. And I love this in the chat. I did see this. I'm still angry that they even brought Palpatine back in the first place. How the F did he survive the Death Star? I put out a video on exactly that as soon as we found out about it, because let's just undo everything that was done by the original trilogy. Let's just completely undo that. Is it too much to ask to get a legitimate new threat without you raking us back across everything we've already experienced and taking Luke Skywalker, who you've already beat down, and his triumph there? Can you not completely undo that? Is that unavoidable?
Yeah. They're doing it backwards, Mary. They're killing off the characters we didn't want killed off, and they're bringing back the characters we didn't care about really to bring back. I don't get it.
That huge pile of garbage. Let's break this down. Death Star explodes into little tiny itty bitty pieces. From our perception, okay, sure, fine. It blew up in big chunks and it enters the atmosphere of a planet and doesn't burn up in the atmosphere and then crashes into a planet and stays perfectly intact, like angels from heaven came out and just floated it gently into the ground, instead of it smashing into the ground and completely dispersing across the ocean, creating a giant crater. No, it just gently landed in there like someone dropping a knife and it landing in just the floor. J.J. Abrams is written all over that scene.
So fine, in fact, that Palpatine's throne room is completely intact.
There is glass still intact on the whole thing.
Yeah, that was real creative. That was extra creativity there. That was extra. It was subverting your expectations on normal physics. Yeah, that's what that was.
But it's science fantasy, so anything can happen. No, it can't, you freaking moron.
Look at that.
There's the glass.
There it is. And she's just chilling out.
It's just amazing. Do y'all see this? Those of you who've seen Game of Thrones, does this look familiar to you at all? This scene?
It's missing stairs too, but we won't even go
It's
there.
missing a giant dragon too. Yeah, but we'll just looking past that. The haziness of it, the throne, it's just like golly, they really couldn't get an original thought really well, could they, with all this imagery that they're trying to, and they put this in the trailer. I'm like, oh man, is this really the best they have? Kind of makes me upset, but it's okay because now I know I don't want to see it. So back to that. It's all good.
Either way, let's say that it's not glass. Let's assume that it's transparent aluminum.
I was gonna make the same joke that go ahead.
Let's assume it's transparent aluminum and that is legitimate, right? It still would have burned up on re-entry if it hadn't exploded in the initial explosion. They hit the core, okay? They hit the reactor, explodes. Boom shakalaka, ordeal over, right? But no, here we are sitting in a throne room that is basically intact. Basically completely intact. Down to the chair. The chair is good, guys. None of that cloth and squishy stuff in there even got singed. It's all great.
The remains of what are the names of Palpatine's guards?
Oh, the Red Guard?
Yeah, the Red Guard just laying in the corner over there, fully intact. Not even
no decomposition.
Fully fleshed.
Years later.
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just over here making grilled cheese.
On impact.
No, this picture really makes me angry. This is just like a culmination of all the worst ideas coming together on a really, they really wanted to make this so cool looking and mysterious. And, guys, look, this is so epic. This final front of of clash against each other. They're going to do it again, guys. They're going to attack each other again. Are you ready? No, could care less. It's just same thing over and over again. It's exhausting. Give me something new. Give me something that's interesting. This is boring. This is like old couples quarreling again. Who cares? Who cares?
There's no way they thought this through. There's no way that this was the plan from get-go, right? There's no way that they said to themselves, if they'd sat and thought about this for the last, 4 or 5 years, hey guys, we're totally going to bring back the Emperor and the Death Star again. We're going to bring back the Death Star for a 4th time, guys. For a 4th time in the saga. We're going to bring that 5th if you include Rogue One and the plans for it. We're going to bring that back, and we're going to have them fight in that throne room, and we're going to have them go all through it. There's no way they thought this through. And
you don't think that the guy who turned a planet into a Death Star wouldn't bring the regular Death Star back again?
Oh God! Yeah.
Do not get me started on Star
I'm just asking.
I will talk about the ridiculousness of Starkiller Base for hours.
I'm not sure that they even have it nailed down yet. I'm honestly not sure that they even have this completely figured out yet, because the truth of the matter is that every trailer that we've gotten thus far, and we've gotten the final trailer, guys, it's going to be here in a month. Are you ready? Oh my God, are you guys ready for Star Wars? It's going to be here in a month, and we don't know anything about the plot. We know literally nothing about the plot. There's nothing that you can derive in terms of information from these trailers, only that they're going to be space horses, and hey, look guys, the Death Star's back. Aren't you excited? I'm Amber.
Why'd you bring up space horses?
And y'all, John Williams, the amazing composer behind all of these Star Wars films, Indiana Jones, E.T., I could go on and on and on. He is retiring on this. It's so sad for him.
This is where we lose him.
Forces. Sorry, they're
that's
forces.
the real tragedy in all of this. Actually, I think so.
They're forces.
The space horses. What was it? We were calling them sporsies. Sporsies. You know what was it they looked like? They looked like tauntauns to me. You repurposed tauntauns.
Yeah, pretty much.
Made them less tauntaun.
They just look like tauntauns with their they're like horse tauntauns with their little tusks and everything. That's all we're gonna get. I was scared of Bob if I hear
Except these ones spell better on the inside.
Again, it's like Game of Thrones. I keep seeing Game of Thrones references because that one left a sore spot in my heart too. Yeah, just this like charge. Like it's not a battle without horses in some respect, even in space. Even in space.
Well, seeing this just makes me hope that Andre's right. If you watch, obviously, a lot of the people here watched the video earlier. That's why they're here. Where they made that abundantly clear earlier on. At least a couple of them, anyway. I'm with Andre at this point. You might as well go full on, all out Mystery Science Theater 3000, and this is the perfect gateway right here. Make this movie so fucking bad that it just doesn't matter anymore. You can sit there and make fun of it at this point and laugh at the screen at how bad this has become.
I do have an alternative for you though here, Tom, and I'm actually kind of on board with this one, okay? So let's let them usurp Rey's Mary Soonis, right? And then watch the SJWs eat each other.
That works too. Either way, you could throw all that in there. Hell, they already threw the kitchen sink into that other scene.
We won't even
got
have
all the
to pay for a
ships.
movie. We can just watch it from the comfort of our homes on our YouTube screens while they eat one another. I'll get the popcorn.
On
I just want to
Disney
see.
Plus.
I want to see I want to see a whole bunch of reactions to this movie from people who are just all about Star Wars this time around. I want to see honestly what they're going to say about this movie, and just if anybody decides to just like finally say, okay, guys, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna like just a little hint of okay, it wasn't what I thought. I cannot wait for that. I'm excited. I want a compilation of it.
What do you think this
and then
Grey
show
Jedi
it to them.
business is? What do you really think this Grey Jedi business is? It's a bunch of people who actually realize The Last Jedi sucks, but they don't want to be persecuted.
Are you talking about the Gray
or Grey Order?
Yeah,
yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Grey Order. That's what that's all about. Is because they don't want to take responsibility for not liking The Last Jedi, but they also, they don't.
They were late. They were late to the bus, and that's okay. We still got seats for them if they want to come over.
They came running up with their jackets half hanging off, right? Their backpacks slung over one side, going, "Guys, wait! I don't like it either. I mean, I really don't want to ride the bus because it smells."
But then they got somebody behind them going, "What?"
You don't have to hear them say, "Okay, you guys were right. We already know that. We just want you guys with us finally, so our voice can be even more magnified about it." That's all.
Look at this beautiful photo here, and imagine if they sent a bomb, like they shot and fired one of those ships that are in that clunk of ships. Like all explode.
Yeah, this might be over real quick. You got a good point there, Miss. That's a very good point. And this coming from a woman. There you go. That's what this show's about, folks. Speaking of what this
I think
show's about.
I think Lando's in there.
Well,
I think he's the one doing it. Yeah.
That's no Moon, that's Lando.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a few super chats I want to get through real quick, and then I got the question that was posed in Andre's video, speaking of his video, that I'm going to pose to you ladies after we get through these super chats. Some of them have questions, so we'll try and get through them here. Daybird Third sends another $10. Thank you so much. My nephews and I went to see every Star Wars movie. We're skipping this one, and I hear no talk of Star Wars among my college-age students. They're all about Marvel and anime. Star Wars is cooked.
Yeah.
Anything to say to that, ladies?
No, I agree 100%. No one, none of the younger generation cares about this.
It's going to be the same to them as Transformers or anything else that's hyped CGI nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. This is essentially going to go down as like Gem. You got girls remember Gem, right? Like nobody talks about it anymore, but it sucks in terms of the reboot that was made for it. Nobody cares anymore. We're not invested in it because we haven't gotten anything worth talking about it in ages. Sure, it's got this wonderful place in our heart in terms of nostalgia. And the guys may not be able to sort of identify with this, but I don't know if you girls remember. Well, I know Miss doesn't. Miss is too young. But do you remember Gem, Candace? You remember that?
I do.
I was a kid.
The cartoon.
Gone. They tried to do a reboot. It sucked. This is where we are. Time to move on to something else because this sucks.
Hard to remember things you don't remember.
You were young, or you didn't exist yet. You were a gleam in your daddy's eye.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Miss.
People need to let go of Marvel and go over to DC, but that's just me.
Well, if they can keep things going like they have with Shazam and Joker and stuff like that, they might be on the right track. I did skip over a few. These are all out of order, so I apologize to those listening. Nobody's super chat got lost. I've got them all over the place in here. You're gonna have to deal with it because they go through so fast, and we lose them all if we don't get them right away. That's one thing whatchamacallit has to really fix.
And Tom, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much for taking care of all this for us.
This has been nuts.
Anyway. It's a good first learning curve for us. All of us.
We know how to actually thank the men in our lives who are helpful.
Oh yeah, I'm very thankful.
Thank you.
Dudes are great. Dudes are awesome.
Thank you. Our Warren Harris, another great dude, I'm hoping and assuming. If not, I'm apologizing for assuming your gender. We are seeing in the media.
How dare you? Wait, how dare you?
Wait. I got him.
You guys forgot to clutch your pearls.
I haven't clutched my pearls once today.
How dare you? Total
Warren,
Greta Thunberg it up here.
For those who are new to the show, if the ladies get very upset, they clutch their pearls, just so you know. Our Warren Harris gave us a Canadian $5, eh? We are seeing in media is unnatural masculinization of women. I could read at one point. And the feminization of men at extreme levels. There's no organic balance. Thoughts? I got one just before I turn it over to you ladies. Tom needs to learn how to talk. But no, this is on display prominently in the new Terminator movie. Mm-hmm. You have all the women doing and playing all the male roles, and they even make points of it, certain things as men's work, almost like to a point, or men's this or men's that, and women are doing it, and then they demasculize Arnold completely, like damn near literally by chopping his dick off. Not actual literally chopping it off, but they make him being part of a sexless marriage. So anyway, so Geeky, it sounds like you had
a great article on that one the other day.
Candace. What was that? Go ahead, Mary.
Candace found a great article on that the other day.
On which one?
About the sort of shoving women into these male roles. Handle.
Yeah. Basically the swap doesn't mean that it's going to be worthwhile. It takes more than a switch under the pants to get the excitement from women in general in the audience. We're more complex than that. We are smarter than that. They trivialize our wants and needs in Hollywood because they really don't know us or know us well enough to have creators who can develop females that actually have quality traits that are relatable for females. Vulnerability is one of them. Most women are vulnerable. Displaying vulnerability in some respect makes most women that watch things feel relatable to that character. If the character is infallible, unrelatable, not vulnerable in any way, we look at her like we would a statue. Mm-hmm. She's pretty to look at sometimes, but there's no depth.
Yeah.
So,
Strength thing. Mary, your favorite Disney princess is Belle.
Mhm.
And she had her own strength to her, the
Mhm.
way that she acted, and could be defined as a strong female character.
Mhm.
If she had gone into that castle to get her father with two big shotguns at the ready, like bombs strapped around her waist, and like, I'm gonna kill me a beast, and like,
She might as well have been Gaston.
a part of who
Yep.
she was as a female, that sort of feminine energy, was that she had the strength to be kind, to
Mhm.
stay behind the beast, to
Mhm.
give herself up for her father. Those aren't easy decisions. Those
Mhm.
aren't something that women can just do. She made those sacrifices, and that's what identifies with women, is being able to have that kindness and strength to move forward and not take sort of that aggressive side that men take, which isn't a bad thing. It's not bad to be aggressive. It's not bad to
No.
go in guns blazing.
Look
It's
at the
just-
success of Mara Jade in
Mhm.
the storylines. I mean, she is aggressive AF, okay? And I agree completely. The Belle thing was spot on comparison there.
Absolutely. And look, you do a disservice to women when you do that. When you shove a woman into a man's position and you throw a sword into her hand and you call it handled with no regard as to the deepest inclinations of how she may herself be inclined to behave, with no regard to that, with no regard to that women are typically problem solvers. We will look around and we will try to find a way to address something without going into a brute strength, because as a general rule, we don't have brute strength at our disposal to deal with something. We have to go into our head. We have to try to solve this problem in a different way, because these are the assets that we have at our disposal. You do no service to women when you simply shove us into a male role and say, hey, look, don't you want to be like her? She can just do it. She can just shove it out of the way. Well, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I will never be able to do that. That is not the way that I function. I will never be a physically strong female, because that's just not me. But you know what I do have is a mind that I can put to any task and any problem, and I can work it out and sort it out. And maybe, just maybe, brute strength is not the only answer to every problem.
Yeah, taking a male's traits doesn't mean you're making females stronger. That's the whole point. I don't get it. Like demasculizing men as a means to propel your female character up. If that's all they've got, then they truly don't understand us. And it's sad because they see us as like a totem or something. Like, just like, it's just we're some kind of just,
like an object.
yeah, pretty much. It's just, it's unfortunate because, and this is why I don't. This is why I don't want them touching the Mara Jade story or doing a Thrawn series, to be honest, yet, because I feel like they haven't gotten to that point yet of understanding that enlightenment, if you will. A lot of people, I see you in the chat and I feel you. I love the Thrawn series. Thank you, Ryan and Lethal, for introducing me, or I kind of knew about it, but I didn't actually ever read it. I needed to read it. I'm glad I did now. I did the graphic novels and the audiobooks and I love them. Finished the entire Thrawn series, lickety split, great reading. And I don't want them touching a moment of that yet. I don't think they have it. I want to see how Mandalorian and Obi-Wan square up in terms of live TV. Maybe there's a shot there, but I don't want them taking it to theaters. I really don't. I feel like they're not ready. And it'll be upsetting if they ruin another thing we love about Star Wars.
Well, we already have Obi-Wan Kenobi on the line at this point. We can only hope that they don't emasculate him, but hopefully with them not being able
They'll give him a girlfriend.
I
She'll kick
wouldn't
ass
mind
for
that.
him.
I wouldn't mind him. I wouldn't even mind him having a female companion, having a girlfriend.
I think Satine probably. I think it's going to be Satine.
Right. Absolutely. Like, it's not unprecedented, and I wouldn't mind something like that. But don't undermine Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is what we're staring down the barrel of right now with this character. Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is in fact my favorite Star Wars character. I have to watch and with bated breath, hoping, praying beyond anything that I've ever prayed for, that you don't dismantle this character who, from the beginning of his story to the end of his story thus far, has had nothing but a beautiful arc. He's stayed true to what it is that he felt like he needed to do, even when he was the last of a kind, right? He stayed true to that, and he did what he had to do in order to carry on the legacy of the Jedi. He was a mentor to both Anakin, and he learned from those mistakes and carried forward with Luke. I don't want want to see that character destroyed, but that's what I'm facing down the barrel of right now, because you have no idea how to write strong male characters, Disney. You have no idea, either that or you have no inclination. And I'm inclined to believe that it's both at this point, that you've lost so much touch with reality that you're happy to undercut every man that's set in front of you if it will somehow empower a woman. But that's not real empowerment.
Yeah, I hate it when they choose a man to be a supportive role strictly for the comedic relief. There's nothing more played than that right now. It's so boring, and I miss the times when we used to have men, being portrayed with traditional masculine roles. I enjoyed that because I come from a family where I had that with my father and my mother as a traditional mother, and it's like forbidden to display that kind of lifestyle. And it's unfortunate because people should take pride in those things too. People should take pride in their masculinity or their femininity, and it shouldn't be something that has to be forcibly swapped to carry a story, because it doesn't feel organic, and it's repulsive for most. You might bring on some new fans, but they're not going to spend money on your merch. That's the problem.
I think we all have sort of the thing in common where we came across Star Wars or general nerdy stuff from our fathers. And I think it's because of our experiences with our fathers, and even men in general, our brothers, or really we've gotten the good side of men and we've gotten the bad side of men, and we can still say that men aren't horrible. Men deserve to be respected in how they actually are and how they should be depicted in films, and we can work alongside men. We don't see them as inferior or better than us. There isn't a disconnect there. We know we're different. We know that men think differently and act differently than us on certain situations, but they're not better and they're not worse.
It's just different. Why is that so terrible? Why is it so terrible to acknowledge these differences between us? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't that real diversity?
Being able to work together despite the differences.
I don't know. My whole life, women have been more smarter than men anyway. I don't know why y'all want to be on the same fucking level.
I don't know.
I think when it comes to putting things on film and translating it visually, the only way that the creatives, I use creatives loosely, that they can get like a trailer out or something to display these traits is to have somebody strong and very like masculine in terms of the traits, like being able to fight and stuff like that. Like that's a traditionally masculine kind of thing, and it's just because that's easy to put on screen. Look, she can fight. Look, she can jump. Look, she's active. Look, you guys, she's very, very athletic. Like that's about it. And I'm just like, okay, great. What else can she do? Is that it? She's athletic.
I think your article was really on point with that, Candy, and the whole sense that basically you're objectifying women by trying to make them men, by trying to give them all man traits, putting them in the male role, and then not only that, but calling attention to that fact. So
yeah, it's pandering in the worst form.
Yeah, and objectifying at the same time.
Right?
Yep.
Sorry, miss, what'd you say?
I think of Vasquez, right, from Aliens.
He
was a very, very tough, strong character, almost man-like. They make a joke about her being man-like, but when the guy that she liked, I don't know, I can't remember what their relationship was if they were together, but when he died, her reaction was just how any woman would react. She was a woman at heart still, despite her manliness.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's pushing a lot of girls to learn unrealistic expectations of themselves, that this is the only traits that they see that are qualifying for them to be considered a strong female. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny you brought up Alien, Miss, because there was that article about, I think we even covered it on one of the earlier Toxic Femininities over on Midnight's Edge After Dark, selfless plug there, about how this girl who was young had seen Alien for the first time, and she was blown away at the fact that there was a strong female character in a movie that was 40 years old. It blew her mind. It's like, duh, that's what we've been saying this whole time.
Yeah.
That they exist. You have multiple examples. One of my favorite ones is Kill Bill, where you have freaking Beatrix running around kicking everybody's butt all over the place. But why did she do that? Let's go ahead and spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen Kill Bill or Kill Bill Volume 2. She did it because she was a mama. because what she was after was revenge for, as she understood it, the death of her child. And she was ready to kill for that. Now, I'm not saying that women wouldn't have other reasons to kill, but it's hard to invoke a more potent reason in a woman to kill than by touching her baby. And they understood that about women. And I'm
surprised she had a baby at all. You never see that. You never see roles of women on stage or in film talking about kids anymore.
Well, and never mind the fact that we're mothers to boys as well. Let's just keep in mind here for a second that all of these women that you're empowering happen to have men in their lives. They have fathers, they have brothers, they have husbands, they have sons who they want to see treated with some measure of dignity and respect, because we care about the men in our lives. But you slander them and you talk down to them. I don't want to watch my boys get raised in a world where they're treated like broken girls. There's nothing wrong with them. And for you to treat them like there's something inherently wrong with them solely because of their gender makes my job as a mother that much harder.
Yep.
Sayara Kanu, another good example of a mother who was tore down to make the new generation something or whatever, and just because she had a son, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah,
motherhood, the lost art these days.
And another mother that I always bring up, who only had a very small amount of screen time, but you get to know a lot about her, Mrs. Voorhees, Jason's mother. She killed a whole shitload of people for that little brat. Anyway.
The funny tangent we just went there.
It is, but that's what the wonder of the super chats are. Speaking of, did you have something to say, Miss?
I've never really heard her referred to as Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah.
Pamela Voorhees, Mrs. Voorhees, Jason's mother, however you want to refer.
Is what I've heard, not Mrs. Voorhees. Mrs. Voorhees?
Yep.
Please don't kill me.
Don't make me do another spit take, please. I don't know that my camera can survive it.
Arfar, I think I'm saying that right, gives us a New Zealand $3.49. Same time as Inquisition. You can't do this to us. I'm sorry. We thought hopefully the Inquisition would be wrapping up by the time the ladies started. But yes, this is the plan, is 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern. Every Sunday you get to join the ladies of the Fandom Menace here on Midnight's Edge. And we will have other guests. So, don't think this is going to be the only ladies of the Fandom Menace you see. We will, of course, have other ladies join us in the future. We just wanted to let you guys get to know the main ladies tonight, so that you could check them out. And do check out their channels. I've been dropping their links periodically, and I will drop them again surely soon. But in the next super chat, let's move on then. AJ1218. It sounds like a name that George Lucas came up with. $5. What are the odds that in 10 years Disney will reboot the original trilogy? Interesting question. I don't know if they will, but what do you think, Mary?
I don't think it'll even take that long, honestly.
Candy?
Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
It's just,
outnumbered already. Miss?
I that's just the idea of it's hurting my brain so bad.
I'm with you on that. At least it's 2-2 on that. Almost 2-2. We'll go with that. Drakel6 says with $2. Yes, Rey gave the Emperor a foot colonic.
Oh God, that was a beautiful visual. Well done.
I'm not horrified at all right now.
Can you kindly get your foot out of my ass?
Do it. Do it now.
Do it now, please.
What's the safe word?
Cucumber.
No. Skywalker.
Skywalker.
So funny.
Anyway. Skywalker was.
I love doing Palpatine. It's fun.
DCV Titan. Thank you so much, Drakel6 for that, and everybody else for the super chats. The ladies appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll try and finish these up so we can keep going. The DCV Titan. What was that?
I just read it.
Oh. I hope the secret Skywalker is Luke and Leia's incest force baby. They had his force ghost just fully ream the prayer. Well, that was going to like what I was saying, what Andrew said. At this point, you might as well just trash it.
So would that be a Jar Jar? Would Jar Jar be a Far Cry from? Just kidding.
You're super loud, baby. But you're older than us, Jar Jar. It makes a lot of sense. It moves now, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Let's go full.
They can write it in.
Stupid guys. Let's go full
on stupid. Just fuck it up. At least we know you're intentionally doing it at this point, or if not, right? we're just like, oh, you poor souls, you're that stupid. It's
a troll. It's an epic troll at this point. It really is.
Right? Oh,
Very
Lord.
expensive troll.
Damn.
Slytherin
Yeah.
Peanut liked my Palpy impression. Thank you.
It likes you too.
I think we're almost caught up on the super chats here. Let's see. No, I lied. We did the Jaybird one. We did that one. We covered that one. Matt G, $5. Ray taking the Skywalker name is honoring the men in the series and is still honoring the men in the series. And plus, she sought out to help. LOL. So it doesn't even make woke sense.
There is such thing as woke sense. I feel like that's an oxymoron, saying those two things together. Woke
Doesn't it?
sense.
Yeah.
Woke sense. Well, no, I think isn't that appropriation to take the Skywalker name for herself, even though she never had any real relationship with anyone in the quote unquote Skywalker family. Why would appropriating that for herself, even though she has no claim to it, as we understand it, or even bond, even like strong bond to anyone in the Skywalker name? Why would her taking that be in any way, shape, or form acceptable or honoring them in any way? She has no reason to do it. That's an ex machina. That's an excuse. It's not good writing. It's not set up. It's not ready for us in any way, shape, or form. That's just another way to make her more important without doing the work that it took to get there.
Let her take the name. Let her take the name, and let her take the built up celebrity status of the name Skywalker that was built up by men. Let her do it.
I thought he was a myth. You didn't
She
even
needs
know
to
about
take-
him 4 days ago.
She needs to take an injury to the face or to the hand or something to be a Skywalker. From my recollection, most of them they have not gone through their Jedi journeys untouched.
No.
God forbid she lose a pinky nail or a hair on that beautiful coiffed hair of hers, like goodness. It's so infuriating, and all her clothes still remain white throughout the entire thing too, which is really weird. That never happens in real life, but that's just me because I do laundry a lot, and I'm like, this isn't doing it for me. Yeah.
She walks around smelling like bleach 20.
I love that.
Yeah.
You had to bring laundry into this.
I'm sorry. It was true. Hey, you're getting the full stuff.
No, it's full on
woman-ness
toxic
here.
femininity. It is perfect.
Womanness. Okay,
is
this is our
perfect.
view. I see why it's the same. It's the same thing with a lot. Padme had the same thing happen in that movie when they were going up against all of the monsters and stuff. She was wearing white, and they were scuffling around in the dirt and stuff, and she still was, nice and bright and freshly bleached robes. I'm just like, golly.
Yeah, but at least she got a
That's
scratch on her back, right? At least her stuff got shredded and ripped a little bit. Like I don't mind it still being nice and white. And if you're trying to keep the pristine look, I don't mind you keeping a woman looking pristine to some extent, so long as you give her like some legitimate damage done at least, right? But no, never had that with her. Like Kylo Ren gets his face slashed, Finn, and even though it had no lasting ramifications, like gets his whole back sliced up, right? Like everybody's taking damage, but not Rey.
I feel like this makes us really evil spirited by saying essentially that we want to see Rey hurt.
No, we don't want to see.
I think it does.
It's not that I want to see harm come to a character. I want to see them overcome something, because as it stands, I, as a woman, cannot relate to this character who has never faced a trial or a circumstance that she can't just overcome right away. Not to mention still coming out looking all fresh and clean, smelling like bleach. I can't relate to that. I have no ability to look at Rey and go, I can be just like her. No, I can't. I'm a woman. I'm a person. I'm fallible, and I will never be able to act in a way that Rey acts. I can't. I can never relate to that.
Yeah, I can just go fly the Millennium Falcon, you guys. Yeah, I know how.
I've never met the planet before. Really? Well, congratulations. You must.
It's so cringy for me. I hate that. I hated that
You
scene.
have to peel me off the ceiling.
Oh God.
Translation: get me out of here.
I can't even get my hair to cooperate, let alone.
Your hair is like Chewie's hair. Darth Dank sends in $1.99. But Mary, the Force saved the Death Star. That's That's not how the Force works.
I was gonna say that, Tom. I was gonna say
Maybe Freddie Prince's version of the Force. That's how that works.
Dog.
I have
Yeah.
a question for you guys.
Hey, bro. That's how it works for him. Okay, bro. All right, bro. Dog. Yeah.
Wait, I got
God,
a question.
that guy's
So which is
gross.
it? Is Star Wars for children or for women now? Which is it?
That's the question I'm going to be posing soon. Just chill.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Mm.
Drink something and try not to spit it at your camera.
Exactly. Like Miss said. No, I don't buy that shit either. I don't know about you guys. This like Miss brought it up earlier, and the thing is, it's not even really a planet from what we know. And I'm not correcting mansplaining to her either. I just know this from an article. It's a different moon of Endor that this landed on, so it's not even big enough to be a planet. Okay, now as Miss was pointing out, if this a thing this big hit a planet and landed into an ocean, you would most likely get tsunamis, earthquakes, all kinds of other garbage that would destroy most of the living life, if not in that area. Most likely the entire fucking moon would be lifeless at that point. Now, and the chances of it being in that good a shape, slim. I don't know. Something like that big hitting a planet is going to cause a lot of problems. So, yeah, or not a planet, a moon even, is going to cause even more problems. Yeah.
It's science fantasy. The thing is I'm not a scientist. I did not do well in school. This is stuff that's obvious to the average IQ'd person.
Yeah, and that's a common misconception with the whole fantasy thing is, yes, you can have fantasy, but you still have to have rules that help you buy into that fantasy in the first place. That's why the Force worked, because it was
changing. I hate it.
The Force was pretty simplistic in the first three movies. It had its rules. They didn't really go beyond the boundary of the rules that were set within that first movie. You know
what's funny though? I would walk around and be like, if science fantasy meant that they could do whatever the hell they wanted, that they could fly around space on space tricycles, and again, the Rise of Skywalker, space horses. They beat me with space horses.
Well, and essentially there's nothing that's off limits at that point, right? Like they could literally go walking on a sun and have a lightsaber duel there, and you'd totally be able to see the blades on, and it wouldn't even be over anything, right? Like it could be Ewoks walking on a sun, because no rules matter anymore. The rules don't matter at this point because it's space fantasy. Right? So we're not talking about little issues here. We're not talking about little leaps in logic. We're talking about stuff that doesn't make any damn sense to a common, normal person who looks at that and goes, wait, how long ago did that crash? 60 years? And it blew up. And oh yeah, we watched it blow up. And there was nothing left.
Very epically. I have a painting of it blown up. Yes, I have a painting. I have a legit, it actually lights up too. It's pretty awesome. So I have a vivid recollection of it blowing up. I see it all the time, every day. And that's my Star Wars. That's my Star Wars.
We're not talking about a parsec here that nobody knew the definition to, right? We're not talking about something that we only currently sort of understand that, okay, so this was misrepresented in the original trilogy because pop culture and Twitter and all of that jazz has sort of brought it to light. Your average person didn't know or understand at the time that a parsec was being sort of misrepresented. No, this is within your own canon. You showed us a exploded Death Star. It was gone. You showed us that. This is your own canon, and this is now sitting in front of us. Look at it. Look at it. It's like half there. It's like half there.
She's probably just looking at it, raising it out of the water with her evil "I hate men" stare.
There's that shot, right? There's that shot of the entire Death Star intact, like being forced together. Kill me.
Yeah. You know, Luke could barely raise his X-Fighter up out of the.
She
the
has
depths
to raise it out of the water.
Dagobah swamps, but yet we've got the beautiful Miss Lovely, Mary Sue Ray just pulling the Death Star out of the ocean.
Because of this shot.
What a strong female.
Oh, shoot. Where'd it go here? Because of the one shot here of them in the throne room, it's dripping wet.
She raises it, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously they had to have raised it out of the water. Otherwise they drained it to get it out.
So who's the only one that'll raise it?
What do you think?
Yeah, look at it. It's soaking wet.
It's not a Jar Jar. No.
Because of the rain? Because it was just raining.
Yeah, but what are the odds of this piece just be sticking out of the water? I guess because this is actually one of the spears or whatever, isn't it? And I think there's another shot of it underwater with that looks like some of the George Lucas early conception art for his treatments of the stories. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
I have to say, this one little moon spot rock says, "No, Geeky Candy, Ray isn't lifting the remains out of the water. She's pushing the planet away from the Death Star." Well done. I like it.
Yes,
I love it.
it's so much better.
Oh my god, I love it.
I love
good.
I love
That
y'all's
was very
wit. You
good.
guys
Very
are on
good.
fire tonight.
Very good.
The chat's
Very,
amazing.
very good.
I wish I was a
Uh,
Jedi.
Let me see if I can find this picture here.
I
of what
pushed
we're
so
talking
many
about.
things away from the planet. And I could do it
I can do it with my mind.
with my mind. All I have to do is believe
I
in
can't
myself.
find it.
I still think we
These
should
feminist thoughts.
let her force move one little grenade into that entire lineup you were showing us earlier, and literally all the ships are exploding.
You know, if she's that powerful, wouldn't that shit have come in handy when all those ships were coming at him in The Last Jedi? Shouldn't she have just been able to go up there and just blow one up in the middle, like and pull like what Miss was talking about earlier? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't understand why there's any problem that Ray can't solve.
I know,
I
right?
don't understand.
Why are we here? What's the point?
I don't get it. DCV Titan, Canadian $5. Do you know what's outrageous? Truly, truly outrageous? Chlamydia. God bless Robot Chicken. That, of course, is calling back to the gem bit earlier. Of course. Thank you so much, DCV Titan, and everybody else so far for your super chats. George B.D. Lucas, $2. Sorry, late. Was setting up green screen for Monday. Well, that's all right. You can back it up if not and check
Good
it
luck.
out later.
Good luck with your live stream,
Yes.
George.
Good luck with
Rooting
that.
you on.
Here we go. That's what the Phantom Menace is all about, folks. Nova Zero, Australian $5. Making men weak is how you win. Through story to the enemy, not allies. The Force Awakens. Well, that's the way they think.
Simple. It's just so simple, isn't it? What a great, great little thing to just keep in mind every movie you make.
Right,
Yeah.
and that goes right along with Aaron Sharrow's $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Character arcs and obstacles. Who needs them?
Yeah, just need vaginas. More vaginas. More vaginas.
My vagina.
Yep, more vagina.
This whole
Yep.
trilogy, this whole trilogy is just proof that you can make a movie about anything.
My vagina. And we got one more super chat that's coming in the meantime. Let me get it up here. I just had it and then I lost it. There it is. AJ1218 again. Thank you so much. $5. Ray will be a Skywalker and she will lose a body part in this movie. The balls she stole from Luke Skywalker and Han Solo.
Nice. I love these. These are wonderful. That's nice. I wish I had that one.
Yeah, and
I would have
Chris
said it.
Yeah, Chris Vasco says, again, this Death Star stuff Lucas had in this story he gave to Disney, and they have art for it. Yeah, we did a whole video on that. I said that, but it just goes to show that he probably had it set up in the 3 movies, though, ahead of time. Now, I'm not saying George is that good, because everybody knows. I seem to be like this George Lucas authority, it seems like, among the Phantom Menace so far. Nobody seems to know about him as much as I do. It's weird. But, yeah, he... where was I going with this? He's a good storyteller. He's a good... he's a good idea man, but he's not a good script man. He's not good at, editing. That's another thing he's not really good at, even though he thinks he is, because his wife edited the fuck out of him in Star Wars. And I mean, I love George Lucas, don't get me wrong, but I also know his many faults. So
Yeah, did you see that documentary? What was it? Fixed in post or fixed in the edit? Star Wars fixed. It was like a
I love that one. Yeah, it's great.
So good. And look, all credit to George Lucas for the concept and in terms of like coming up with the original story, but the guy cannot execute the actual story, the actual movies, right? He needs the help. He needs someone there to give him a check and a balance. And so there are sometimes you just have to have somebody there to go, George, honey, George, no, honey, no.
Well, there's a reason why Empire Strikes Back is considered the best of all the films.
It
It's
is.
because it's like the one he had the least to do with. Yes, he was there controlling almost everything, but it was the one he was the farthest away from until recently. But yes, George
Masterpiece.
John Q. Public wants me to do my George Lucas impression. I don't think it's as good anymore after that deepfake guy. He does an awesome George Lucas. Oh my god.
Oh, I know, right?
But if you watch the making of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, you can kind of see where George his issues is nobody can tell him, that's not a good idea. They wait till he's out of the room.
Yeah.
To say something.
That's funny.
Okay, lock the door. Lock the door. No. He's gone, right?
So I can just picture George sitting there with a cup at the door. That's the only way I can really hear what they think. Fuck you guys. I'm doing what I want anyway. No, I'm serious. I love George. Don't get me wrong. But he was actually rumored to be. It's a little bit more than rumored. Almost confirmed to be scouting with the folks doing Obi-Wan. So I think he's got involvement in that. Of course, there's been the several rumors that he's had a hand in this. And The Mandalorian, we know that's been confirmed because Favreau himself said he reached out to him and got some consultation from George.
Yes, yeah, he did a lot. I'm covering a lot of Mandalorian stuff right now, and that was one of my favorite things to hear. So yeah, that was very exciting. There's a lot more to it too, but I don't want to say it here. But yes.
Plume Logan, $5. Based on how he turned out, I'm sure Anakin was at one point a feminist ally.
I agree.
I think George just kind of lost focus on what he was going to do with Anakin.
Well, he didn't have anybody there to kind of give him a stop in those gaps, and somebody should have told him that the romance was not working for anybody. Like, that didn't work for anybody. So, but right. Everybody was willing to step back and all hail George, right? And so you didn't have anybody in place. I think it was I heard Jeremy over there on Geeks and Gamers say this last night. I could not agree with it more, that a sort of dream team would have been J.J. Abrams and George Lucas, like sort of filling in the gaps for each other, whereas George Lucas sort of comes up with the concept of how to tell the actual story itself, and then J.J. visualizes it and puts it on the screen, right? That would have worked well. Mm-hmm. But that's not what we got.
I love Anakin's storyline in Clone Wars, though. I think Dave Filoni the one behind all that. I think he did a great job taking Anakin's arc to another level with Clone Wars for sure. And when you're talking about being a feminist ally, I think you can kind of almost see some of that there with his training with Padawan Ahsoka Tano. So I love Clone Wars. Those are so much fun to watch.
I had to pick up this. This is Harrison Ford's famous quote. Gary Wintle says, "George, you can type this shit, but you can't say it."
Right. Yeah, that was one of the amazing parts about the original trilogy, is they had someone like you have someone like Harrison Ford who steps up to the plate and goes, "We're gonna not do this. We're gonna do this little." He understood his character, and he had some playroom there with it, and so we wound up with the character that we got in terms of Han Solo. And you had these people who were able to step up the plate because they understood their characters. The characters could be understood. I don't understand these new characters at all. I don't understand anything about them. I don't know that we're supposed to. I think we're just supposed to be happy that there's a strong, empowered woman on the screen.
Yeah, I think that's why they haven't hurt anybody, because they know if they did, we wouldn't care anyway, and so they're going after the droids.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about C-3PO and how he calls them his friends, and then it's like he's known them maybe for 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, and they're sitting there going, "Oh, thank you, 3PO." He's like, No. I was just talking to Chewie and R2. I don't know who the fuck you guys are."
Yeah, exactly.
You've killed the rest of my friends, you dirty bastards.
They're all dead. Thank you. They're all dead.
All dead.
On the table as a decoration. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm committing suicide on purpose because I can't stand being around you anymore. That's the only thing that logically makes sense to me, because 3PO's a chicken ass. He's a chicken shit. He's not going to do this shit. He's like,
I bypassed being in your presence.
I think Ray forces him with her Jedi powers, probably.
You'll do this.
Yeah, you will do this.
I do hope
it now.
I really do hope that they don't get a like misunderstanding of C-3PO as if he is at some point going to be brave and step up to a plate, because that is not how C-3PO. Look, he was willing to let his friends get eaten by Ewoks in Return of the Jedi because he wouldn't impersonate a deity. I'm not really sure what they're planning on doing with C-3PO here, but don't have him act like a hero, because That's not 3PO. So, look, I'm not saying that he can't be sacrificial if he's put in a situation where he's not really being given a choice, but don't have him offer it.
I mean, he does give a shit about his friends. I mean, when he
These
thinks
aren't
everybody...
his friends.
These aren't his friends, though. Exactly. Like, when they're being crushed in the compactor.
Shut them all down.
I mean, he actually feels bad for him, but otherwise, he's a chicken shit.
Danger. He wasn't in mortal danger himself at that moment. He wasn't in danger of being...
And when he got shot in Empire, it was on accident. If he'd have known that they were there, he'd have hightailed out of there before he could have got shot. So
Well, he's not like an astromech droid or anything like that. He's meant to be in palaces and to be the aides of royalty to be able to communicate with everybody. Right. So I think it's perfect. Yeah. And to see him take on a role that is so different from his character, at least he has a role, right? That's good. But
not a good trilogy make. So
yeah.
I like the suggestion that he's being sarcastic, because if you look at him and then it's like, what are you looking at, 3PO? And then he goes, my friends, and it's like, really? No, I can't close or move my eyes. I can only look forward.
That's funny.
This is why she's called Miss Sarcastic Nerd.
Oh my God, I love
You want me to look to the left? I can look to the left.
I can't move my head.
It
I'm
would be a
wired
little
up.
awkward, but I could look over there.
Is it bothering you that I can't blink?
Yeah, now that you mention it, 3PO, all this time I've spent with you, all 5 minutes of it, I've wondered, why the fuck don't you blink?
Staring at me. Staring at me.
R2's just sitting there going, oh my God, what fucking nuts are these? They
R2's
put me under a tarp.
R2's like, why the hell am I still here?
Right. R2, why the heck is R2 there? For the love of Bob, what have you had him do besides you had him
I
wake
wanted
up?
to know that. Yeah.
You had him wake up at the end of The Force Awakens just in time to be a MacGuffin, right? Because that was, if he'd been awake the entire time, you didn't need any of The Force Awakens, right? And then you had him show the hologram. Once again, he's a MacGuffin to get old grouchy Luke up and moving. Well, thanks for being a MacGuffin twice. I guess that somehow takes place of an actual character. I loved R2-D2. I cannot stand BB-8. He's a usurper of all things cute. R2-D2 had a purpose in the previous movies. He has served as nothing but a MacGuffin since. Pisses me off more than I can see straight.
Yep. That's why I think they're ending them all. No point to having them.
Freaking Chewbacca, I think, saddens me the most, though, out of all of them.
Yeah, Uber Chewy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Uber Chewy. It's just their pet dog that knows how to drive.
I hate how they okay, so Chewie's race, the Wookiees, they're notorious. Their history has them being enslaved, and they're basically slaves from Kashyyyk. And when Rey basically takes the Millennium Falcon instead of Chewie, it's like you get the ship plus Chewie. It's like endorsing the being an object, a slave, if you will. He's a slave to the ship. Here you go. And it's so I'm like, come on, don't you know that what the history of the Wookiees were? And don't make him a slave to whoever whoever mans the ship.
It's really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable.
It's sad.
Anyone watching this who knows anything about this.
He should have taken the ship. It was for the taking. It made me so mad. I'm a woman. Yes, I'm not mad about Rey getting it because she's a woman or whatever. I'm mad because it should have been Chewie.
It should have been Chewie. And it doesn't make any sense. And didn't he have like a life debt to Han? Isn't that why he stuck so close to him? Why the heck is he still hanging around? Rey of all people. Why the heck is he hanging around Rey?
Because
fake wokeness.
Because Han was probably like, if anything happens to me, make sure that nothing happens to my fucking ship.
I think that I would.
She keeps touching shit. Slap her fucking hand. I don't care what she fixes. I don't care what she fixes. You slap her hand.
Oh.
No,
you drive.
I don't want to break everybody's heart, but Chewie and Lando are going down with the Falcon in this movie. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody we knew is going to end, in my opinion. And that's why I don't want to watch this movie. I don't want this movie to dictate my last impression of the few characters left that I enjoy. So yeah, that's where I stand on that.
As long as the movie doesn't end with her pulling Chewie behind her on a leash towards her new shiny Falcon.
Oh God.
No. That's where we're at, though. Like, honestly, that's where we're at this point.
Do you ever wonder if Chewie sits there and thinks of all the people in the world, she's the only one who can speak Wookiee besides Han? This is crazy.
That's the face that he's making, thinking that right now.
Skeptic Chewie is skeptic.
Why does she speak Wookiee, considering she grew up on a desert out
with no Wookiees?
With no Wookiees. Wookiees aren't exactly prevalent all throughout the galaxy, right?
Yeah, see, that would have took foreshadowing and actually thinking and going, you know what? It might make sense if she was raised by a Wookiee on this planet. Or had a Wookiee friend or something that would help understand of why she could speak Wookiee at this point.
No, y'all are missing it. You know, she's a junk collector from Jakku. I'm sure she stumbled on some kind of Wikipedia, and it probably had the it probably had the everything she needed to know on how to speak and understand Wookiee.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He didn't understand Chewie, right, when he first met him, and he didn't understand R2 either.
He never understood them ever.
It's in one of the 47 comics or books that we're supposed to read in order for context.
Well, and that's what made me.
We'll do it, yeah.
That's what made me mad about Solo was I always thought that Han and Chewie had a much longer relationship, and I always thought there was some deal where Han was raised by Wookiees. That's how he knew how to speak Wookiee anyway.
Nope.
But, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I don't get into the EU stuff so much. I don't hate it. I don't hate on it. I'm not saying it's whatever. I'm just saying, I just never had the time for it. That's all.
I do want to point out a thought that I had from earlier. When the rebel ships are all clumped together in that nice little neat clump. Mm-hmm. They're not facing the ships. What's the name of the stupid dark side people? Why can't I remember?
The Republic?
First Order?
First Order?
I couldn't remember the First Order.
Yeah, we don't care who they are anymore.
They're also clumped together in nice little rows, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably when all those Star Destroyers are all lined up and shit, and then they start riding in on horses, remember?
I think this is just the cavalry coming in ship form versus space horse form.
Yeah, they've got the space horse, because if you look at the space horse shot, they're on the, let me see if I can get it here. Mm-hmm. They're actually on a Star Destroyer, and you can see all the other Star Destroyers in front of it. Here, I got it.
I'm overcome by the urge to just chuck a grenade myself and
see those,
done. That's what I want to do.
Just blow up one of them and the rest of them will go.
I know, right? It makes no sense for them all to be in a clump like that.
That's why they were spread out in the original trilogy.
But guys, it's CG porn and GG.
Military tactics are a thing, and they use them in the original trilogy.
Lens flare everywhere.
Look at the lightning that just struck the ship over there. Isn't that cool?
Hey, why don't we get one of those bombers? Those bombers, remember how they just kind of crashed into one another?
Space doesn't work on them.
I just love how they have to take everything to the next level in this shot. Okay, guys, we have a shot of the ship. No, it's not enough. Okay, let's put a shot of the other ships behind it. No, that's not enough. Let's add space horses to the front of the ship. No, that's not enough.
Where did these fucking horses come from?
Let's put a big old epic lightning bolt right down the side of it. Yeah, that's it, guys. We got it now. Yeah.
We're in the air, it looks like. If this is in the air, why the hell are there space horses on it?
That's what I was saying, because they are in the air. Those are all the Star Destroyers back there that are all lined up in the air, remember? They're on one of the fuckers. They're actually on one. Where did they get the horses, and how did they get them there? And why are they not dying of no oxygen? Because even if they're not in space, there's very little oxygen as high up as they are. They should all be freezing to death.
They have one of those space elevators. I've seen that sometimes.
The
elevator goes straight from the planet's surface all the way into some destination outside the atmosphere. So maybe that's what it is. We'll get to find out, hopefully. I'm sure they wouldn't leave a very critical point like that.
Scotty wouldn't even beam them there. Not unless he wanted to kill him.
They just like all keel over with little frost crystals around their noses, and the drivers or the
He's
riders
just like, all right, I'll do it, but it's not going to last long.
Where are they going to run to?
Right? Where are you headed? Where are you even going?
To the other end of the ship?
The other end of the
Am I
ship.
missing something here? I feel like I'm missing.
Yeah, I don't know what they're running to. That's a very good question
laser
too.
Cannons, guys. The horses have laser cannons on them. They're gonna get.
They got laser beams attached to them.
Yeah, and who's going to clean? Who is going to clean the surface of this ship after that?
Yeah, there's no way that's not going to. Yeah.
Wait, guys. Finn just stops, right? He's like, guys, stop. What are we doing? What are we doing right now? Where are we going? Can we stop and talk about this for a minute? What are we even doing?
The moment that he realizes that this isn't possible is when suddenly, snap, they're somewhere else and it's all magical. This wasn't even real. I was having a fever dream.
When did Star Wars turn into the never-ending story? That's what I want to know.
Oh God,
Finn
that
sticks on
song.
his helmet and waddles over to the cafeteria and gets himself a snack. It was all a dream.
It's fantastic.
Built by the imagination of someone who's been severely traumatized. And
Why do I hear Bill Murray in my head going, "This is great. I'm glad to be a part of it."
I'm just so thankful there's such a there's so many people out there, including chat included, that have the same objectivity that we do towards this, that we can see something and call it out for what it really is instead of trying to justify mistake after mistake after mistake in this franchise. And it's just nice to be able to speak with you guys about this tragedy that has become, has basically replaced what once was a great love in our lives, all of our lives, you guys too. And it's just nice to be able, it's therapeutic in a way to be able to sort of just let this out and vent about it. I think that's why we all enjoy our YouTube channels and being able to speak our minds about these things, because it really is kind of like therapy. We are passionate about this. If y'all haven't already been able to tell, we are very passionate about this stuff, and it makes us so upset about it. It really is.
Harkening back to the whole, Star Wars is like for women now, right? Like, so that's what you did. The Force is female, and you wanted to be more inclusive and bring women into this franchise. You didn't need to bring women into this franchise. We were already here. We already cared. What you did manage to do was alienate us by giving us crap stories that didn't make any kind of sense, by abandoning any measure of cohesion. You had us. We were here as much as any females were ever going to be interested in Star Wars, because let's be real here. We are still talking about a space opera. We're talking about it being something that, as a general rule, females, it's going to still be a niche. No matter how women friendly you make it, it's still going to be niche when it comes to people, right? You can't make this 110% accessible to everybody in the world, because
without muddling it down to make it not worth it.
Exactly. But we were here. We were here and we were on board and we felt empowered because we had proper representation on the screen. And you took that away from us and you gave us something watered down, something that wasn't good representation. And you insulted us in the process. So was Star Wars is it good for us now? No. You've drained every measure of hope and exuberance that I had for this entire sequel trilogy. You've taken that from me. And you did that by not giving me a good product. All we ever wanted was a good product. I didn't need you to empower me. I'm already empowered. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ooh, snap.
Where's the mic drop?
Ooh, snap.
Pretty much.
Rich A gives us $2. Thank you so much. Horrific thought. Could the horses have wings?
I mean, they're still going to shit everywhere.
Yeah, that's...
No, because in this world, when things fall from a high place, they just softly land. Hit the surface that they've landed on, so it's okay.
That's a callback.
Dude, the flag overhead just shitting on people's heads like birds.
That's what I was picturing. I would not want to live on that planet. No, or moon,
maybe
whatever.
That's the basic attack of the horses.
You just ruined Pegasus, too.
The First Order's going to hate this crap.
They literally shit on you like this movie does to its fans.
I also like that they're holding their weapons up as they're riding while lightning is striking around them.
Yeah.
That's safe. That's totally insane, guys.
Nova Zero gives us an Australian $5. I said this to Nerdrotic and the Overlord, but this dumpster fire happens on my birthday. Someone please find me and shoot me. I don't want to watch. I'm so sorry, Nova Zero. That is so horrible to say in here.
do that.
Don't go see it. I guess.
Don't
Do something exciting with your life, like go to a
Go
strip
watch
club.
Cats.
Don't tell them to do that. Have you seen the trailers for that?
I want Cats to have an amazing performance day. That first day, I want the box office performance of Cats to be amazing despite the release of Rise of Skywalker. I think that'd be so fun. What a trolly way to get back at that. But I just think I would love that.
I got it. What do we want? Cats. When do we want it? Meow.
Meow. I love it.
I'm not
Right. Meow.
Chat. Edit the picture of them on the horses and make them all cats.
Oh my God.
Somebody get on it. Somebody in the chat make it happen.
Please. Someone talented. Put just put the cats like characters from the movie on there and get rid of what
Find a better shot than this, though.
Yeah.
Like find one of them actually.
Preferably
like,
a GIF form of them dancing would be amazing.
Dude, you can even add the whole Meow Mix song to it. Meow, 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 meow.
Put BB-8 on a cat as well.
Oh, why not? He could ride around on that freaking droid whenever he was on the spaceship last time. If he can ride around in a droid, he could sit on a cat.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm good.
Golly.
Finn is still in because it's about saving what we love. With horses.
I will answer IGW's question in the chat. So look, I personally have never claimed that this movie is going to flop, because in order for it to flop, a lot of things would have to happen, right? This is still Star Wars. We are talking about Star Wars here. People who show up in cosplay at the movie theaters, it's going to be very difficult to watch this movie actually flop. What I do think that we can accomplish is, I would advise everyone, and I'm not calling for boycott. I don't personally ever call for boycotts, but what I would say to you as individuals is that you should speak with your wallet, right? So use your wallet to make your voice heard. And if you are not happy with the state of Star Wars, then don't pay to see this movie, right? There are other alternatives. Even if you want to see the movie just so you can watch the train wreck, you have options, you have alternatives. Do I think it will flop? No. I've consistently said I think it will probably do between $1 to $1.2 billion is what I think. But considering how much that they've reportedly spent on this movie,
It doesn't really matter, does it?
so yes, Solo did flop. I think that we are looking at a little bit of a different scenario here. Would I like to see this movie flop? Of course I would like to see it flop, but I don't anticipate it seeing it flop. I do expect us to wind up seeing it do just enough for them to go, look guys, it did really well, see? And then we're all like
I just wanted to do less than Force Awakens.
I don't know what I expect. I think I want people to stop investing in Hollywood in general, personally. I want people to just, I keep saying this, and because I want people to start doing this, because I feel people are afraid, or they don't feel like they can do it. But make your own movies, man. Take your phone and make your own movie with your phone. You can do it. There's free editing softwares out there. You can make your own movie, and you can make it 10 times better than whatever the hell J.J. Abrams created. Remember Dark Crystal? The visuals of Dark Crystal, they have more heart, they have more passion and behind them than anything that J.J. Abrams could put out visually.
There's some awesome fan fiction that's been made, movie fan fiction. Well, not movie, but like show fan fiction. I think there was a great one with Darth Maul in it that gave him a lot of great. I loved, that was fantastic. The creators of that did an amazing job. So yeah, I agree. There's ways to do that. It's very hard to get into it in terms of making it seen by the masses, but not giving Hollywood your money is a start for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Speak with your wallets on this, guys. You do have buying power. So if this is something that you personally feel strongly about, then use your wallet to use your voice, because it's interesting. They may be woke, but they're also capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I don't want to equate Terminator with this movie in the least because, they're two different horses, to call back there. Yeah, I know it's not a saying, fuck it.
It's gotten to that point in the evening,
It's
Tom.
gotten to that point in the evening. You know, it's just, I think people have been starting to talk with their wallets, and Solo was a prime example of the Star Wars fans will not show up. And I know we want to wrap this up soon because we've been going for over 2 hours now, but the main question that Andre posted in his video was, do you guys think this is bringing a new female audience to these movies? Do you think Disney is succeeding in what at least Kathleen Kennedy has set out to do in general? Miss, it looks like you want to say something first, so go right ahead.
A new female audience, yeah, sure. The millennial feminist crazies, sure, are coming and looking at the movie and going, yay, it's feminist, and then not watching it and not paying to watch it, sure. They have that audience going for them. But as for me, as for people who grew up with Star Wars in their life, I don't want to say real Star Wars fans. I want to say people who sort of have a passion for stories and how they've affected us as we grew up, how they've helped us escape realities that we didn't want to deal with at the time, and how passionate we are about that. That sort of affects a lot of us and a lot of people who watch Star Wars, and the way that they've handled it has really just pushed us all away. So as for a new female audience, yeah, I say they've brought a new female audience, but they don't watch Star Wars. They've never cared about Star Wars. They're only if they are watching it at all, they're only watching it because it's been deemed as a feminist movie.
Candy?
Yeah, so I think that they are bringing in new people, new audience, but here's the thing. The audience doesn't really matter who you bring in if they don't carry a wallet with them. If they're not people that spend money on this franchise in other ways, they rely on all of the marketing on their merchandising and their park. I mean, hello, Galaxy's Edge. We haven't even mentioned that. I think the proof is all you need right there on the low traffic going on in there. There's a lot I can say about that. I've been doing a lot of research and kind of seeing how it compares to different things with Universal. And it's just, it's sad. That there's heads rolling right now. Actually, there are people being booted out, females, high up executive females being booted out because of poor performance with Galaxy's Edge. Mm-hmm. So if, it's one thing to say, yeah, let's bring in this audience, this new woke crowd. But if you're going to do that at the cost of losing what you had, then you better hope that you still have a net gain. And I think that's not going to be the case. So who in the end cares? It's not going to be Disney in the end when it comes down to the dollar, because if they're going to be losing ultimately on how much they spent, so they overspent when they purchased when Disney purchased Star Wars, and it's sad because I wanted it to do well, I really did, but at the cost of alienating the fans that made it the cult following that it is, they deserve it.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Mary? Do you think it's really brought in any new female fans at all?
Look, you had a female audience, right? We're sitting right here. The fandom is rife with women. I could sit here and I could name them off for ages, and I'll give you a few examples. Anna, that's Star Wars girl. Mecha Random 42, Jessie Milestone, Candace, Miss, myself, Mara Jade, Megs, Bionic Bunny, Jedi Bunny, Darth Barbie. There are Ruthie. You've got examples all over the fandom menace. You had a female audience. We were here. You discounted us. You pretended like we didn't exist. And so you labeled us males because we disagreed. You labeled us as though we had internalized our misogyny. And you lumped us in as though we didn't count. We didn't matter.
That was toxic.
Well, now your new group of people, they didn't go see Solo. And they're not buying your toys. I bought your toys. I would have gone to see Solo. I'd have seen Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'd have seen it the same amount of times I saw everything else in theaters. I'd have seen it at least 3, if not 5 or 6 times in theaters, like I did every other Star Wars movie that came before it. I would have done that. I'm not doing that now. So I hope that for every female that loved Star Wars that you turned off, I hope you've got at least another 6 in pocket that are willing to go pay to see your movie. Because you turned off a whole lot of females who were hardcore fans who would have gone and seen this over and over again. And I hope you're ready and prepared to pay that price. Because if you're not, maybe your movie won't do quite so well as you hope. There were plenty of women who would have gone to see this over and over again, who would have bought your merchandise. We're done now. But we didn't matter, right? We didn't exist. We weren't here. I'm looking at 2 beautiful ones right there.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Prinze thinks we don't exist. He says only kids watch.
Dog. No, and that's
I wanted to do a video straight to him and be like, okay, well, I guess I wanted. Oh my gosh, I wanted to say so many mean things. I would have gotten in trouble. Yeah.
But no, that's a very good point, and that's something we bring up all the time on After Dark, selfless plug, is that, there was an audience already for all these franchises, and some of them were predominantly female in some cases, and you totally alienated them. Ghostbusters was a prime example where that happened. That proved it. Nobody showed up to that movie. You banked on the women showing up, and not only did nobody show up that, as far as a new crowd, you alienated the classic crowd that was there. And there were plenty of women who were fans of Ghostbusters before that. And if you don't believe me, go check out every state's group of Ghostbusters. And there's dozens, if not more than that, of women in every group. And it moves on to every other franchise. Just like, look at Terminator. That was one of the dumbest things they ever did. Not to go back to that again, but they forgot that they had a strong female base for Terminator already. Of a lot of the action franchises, I'm willing to bet that between Alien and Terminator, they do have a very strong female base. Why? I know this because just about every girlfriend, including, friends, have all liked these franchises growing up. So I know this for a fact. Now, I don't even have to go look up statistics. They were already... Die Hard was another one I'm sure that women like, There's no sense in going the other direction with that. Why would you want to fuck with that? Because women like to see men do manly things. Same thing with 007. What was that, miss?
Bruce Willis is hot.
See, that's my point. And this is something that Rob always and Mecca and all them go off about when it comes to 007 on After Dark too, is, women like to see Bond be Bond and be with hot women and all that kind of shit. They don't want to see him
Pierce Brosnan
demasculated.
was a fantasy of mine. Oh my God. Well, and others, but I, specifically when I was of the age of kind of starting to fantasize about this other thing, it was Pierce. So yes.
No, but that's understandable. That's the point.
Yeah,
you didn't want to see him come out and be a cuck on a 007
oh God,
movie. No.
it would have ruined the fantasy.
Well, what female is interested in a male that behaves that way? And if she is in fact interested in males, what female is interested in a male that behaves that way? That's not even remotely attractive. It goes against everything that's in our biology. We want someone who is at least our equal, if not better. You're shooting to go up in the gene pool, people, not down. You're shooting upwards. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
For a healthy, strong, supple, capable mate. That's what you look for. And so when you look at someone on screen in front of you, you want to find someone who's attractive and strong and empowered, because if you wind up in a rough situation, you're going to need them to have your back. And that's what our biology tells us. But I don't want to watch a cuck. I don't want to watch a cuck run around on screen that can't do at least what I can do. Why the heck would I be attracted to that? And then why the heck did I come to this movie in the first place?
And then yeah. Go ahead.
No, I don't know why I'm here. Why am I here? Why did I give you $12? I am going to need some eye candy because I don't care about the shoot 'em up, bang, bang stuff.
You mean you don't find Poe attractive?
Well, but it's nice that they're hot.
Oh, shit.
It's a nice plus.
And that's the thing. So, yeah, I agree with the ladies for the most part. Yeah, they may have brought in some new audience to a point. Because, of course, kids are getting into it to a point, but most kids are not into this. We've already proved that and seen that, and just like the whole thing with the toys that's been brought up a million times in a million different videos.
The girls dressed up as Ray. They're so cute.
Yeah. I mean, there is obviously some base that's growing with this, and this will be some, this next generation Star Wars, don't get me wrong, but I think this is going to be a much smaller pastiche fan base than what they're used to with Star Wars. And why?
They cut a lot of shit, but they
Yeah.
don't put their money where their mouth is.
Exactly. They've alienated not only the main core group, but you've alienated the diverse parts of it, including the ladies, which are here to speak.
And a lot of the core
this.
group have kids.
Yeah.
And they don't want to take their kids to see that.
Well, yeah, if you're actually somebody who pays attention to what your kid watches, unlike a lot of people do, and
or like doing a Disney Star Wars
you know.
cruise, it's not even an option for people like me. I would never do that. I wanted to at one point, but then I found out that they don't have any of they only have the new characters. They don't even have Darth Vader on board. It's all Kylo Ren and all the new characters. They don't have anything.
But
Chewbacca, and that's it.
But for the parents who actually do pay attention to what their kids are watching, I can see a kid not wanting to watch this stuff because there's nothing of redeeming value here. You can look at the original trilogy and even the prequel trilogy to a point. There's strong men, there's strong women, there's strong dynamics, there's lessons to be learned, there's, mistakes are made, and there's consequences. In these new movies, it's just a bunch of hackneyed bullshit. So, I don't know.
Agreed.
What was that, miss?
Someone asked a question above. That's okay if I read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
IGW said, someone will call this sexist. Was it dumb to cater to women? Star Wars is for everyone, but by design, isn't it catered toward men? When I think Mission Impossible, it's obvious who the demographic is.
Well, sure. Look, okay. Yes, it should have been. It was originally aimed at a group that would like the sort of space opera, space Star Warsy kind of stuff. And there's really no other way to describe it because it's an entity unto itself, right? And typically you will find that does appeal to males on an average basis. We're not denying that. We're sitting up here as women. We're not denying that your average person who goes to Star Wars is going to typically be more of a male. But they haven't done anything to increase the appeal to women. They've done something to increase perhaps the appeal to woke people who don't actually want to spend money on it, because look, they got their agenda in place, right? They got what they wanted out of you. They don't actually care about this movie or these characters, and they have no intention of actually paying for this stuff. The difference between SJWs and the people that they're trying to push this towards are that legitimate fans will go see the movie 5-6 times. We'll buy the merchandise. We're going to walk in and get the stormtrooper head with the popcorn in it. We are going to spend our money on it because we are emotionally invested in this. And yes, females do in fact represent a portion of that fan base, because the females who love it are die hard, just like the males. The women who show up love it just like the males do. If we show up, because we're all in it, baby.
I played all the Star Wars video games. Yep. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Shadow of the Empire, loved it.
Yeah,
I don't like much of the other ones.
Yeah, and I meant niche, not pastiche before. Sorry. But yeah, they're going to turn this into a niche kind of like thing like Star Trek.
Well, then we'll decide to the rest of us.
Because you've alienated this whole entire other base. And even the movie even took George Lucas. Yes, he made the original film with the mindset that, little boys are going to dig this. Their dads are going to dig this because they went and seen, Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon like I did, and that's what I'm basing it on. And I might make my money back and sell some toys. That's what he thought. He had no freaking clue it was going to turn into this big global thing that it did to not just men, but women and children alike, boys and girls. Because if you even go back and watch, certain things you can hear, he'll talk about like the Phantom Menace. He brings up the fact that the reason that the Queen or Princess Amidala changes her outfit so many times is so the girls had something to look at. That's exactly what he said.
I love Padme. I think I enjoyed Padme. I don't like Natalie Portman at all, but I really, really liked Padme in the prequels. I'm a prequel person, prequel movies.
And then look at the shift between the first Star Wars and Empire, how the love story kind of took center stage with Han Solo and Leia. And then we got Rookie Critic with $2. Hi, Tom. Hi, Miss. Hi, Mary. Hi, Candace. Hi, chat. Hello, Rookie Critic. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping this up we're gonna say goodbye to everybody in the chat. Aw. Real quick, ladies, why don't you tell the folks about yourselves if they want to check out your channels? Miss, let's start with you.
Well, hi there, people of Earth. I'm Miss Sarcastic Nerd, but you can call me Miss. I have a channel if you want to check that out. On that channel, I talk about movies. I talk about fun things that either make me angry or don't. I also have a Twitter. If you want to check that out, it's at Ms. Sarcastic Nerd. I'm pretty neat. I'd like to think I had a pretty good thing going on here. I mean, subscribe to me, please. Joking. No, I'm not.
She's adorable. You probably ought to subscribe though, because she's violent.
She'll track you down.
Parents hostage.
Yeah.
Is running out of room.
Midnight's Edge is not responsible for anything that Mrs. does. Anyway, do check out Mrs. channel though. Miss apostrophe S. It's weird because it sounds like I'm calling you Mrs., but I'm not trying to. But I am getting to that point where I'm even misusing words and shit, so that's nothing new.
Right.
Candy.
Yes.
Candy. Why don't you please tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
All right. Yeah. Hey, guys. I'm Candace, aka Geeky Candy, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I'm on all the social media platforms that I know how to operate right now, and Discord. So, yeah, I've got a channel. And at Geeky Candy is my Twitter, and you can always DM me if you want to know anything about videos or games or anything like, or give me ideas of new videos. That'd be awesome. Currently, I'm really covering in depth The Mandalorian because it is coming out this week, and as well as Star Wars Fallen Order. I have that game on. I'm going to be playing that November 15th when it drops. I do a lot of Call of Duty live streams as well. And I also cover just other random things too. But Mandalorian's my big one right now. Tomorrow I've got a premiere on a really big video. You can go check it out after this. I'm really excited about that one. So yeah, come visit. We'll chat and have a good time.
Alrighty, so do check out Candy's channel. And we got a real quick super chat. AJ1218 sends us another $2. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the super chats tonight, guys. We appreciate them so much. Good stream. Thank you. Happy Veterans Day. And happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. We thank you for your service. And of course, last but definitely not least, the mistress of mayhem, the master of ceremonies yourself, or mistress of ceremonies, sorry, however you want to consider it. Miss Mary Mayhem, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi guys, I am Mary B. I am the Mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem, where we talk about newsy news stuff during the week, and on the weekend we switch it up a little bit and do some different kind of entertainment, because I like giving you guys an option. If you're sick of what it is that is presented to you by Hollywood, you have alternatives. You can get your jollies someplace else. And so I am happy to go ahead and provide you with something to do on a Friday night besides go catch a movie where they're going to make you sit there and pay for it, $12 to go watch that movie. Instead, you can come swing by my channel. We'll give you some high quality entertainment. Shenanigans. It's a lot of fun. So yes, please do come subscribe to me, and I look forward to seeing you guys over there.
Batman has been on Shenanigans. It is very fun.
Anyway, if you don't know what that is, you'll have to find out. So do check out Shenanigans and Mary Mayhem's channel, of course. And she does pop up on Geeks and Gamers, isn't that right?
Yes, I am officially on the Geeks and Gamers team, so you can also find me over there. I do believe I had a video drop on that channel just a few hours ago, actually, right before we started the stream. So yeah, you can find me over there, guys, as well.
I forgot to say I am on Geeks and Gamers as well. I can't believe I forgot that. That was huge for me, and I'm totally blew it. Sorry, Jeremy.
Yes, both of these lovely ladies are part of Geeks and Gamers. So this is kind of like the official Geeks and Gamers crossover stream almost. But we're going to try and work on some t-shirts and other things. And I hope those who earlier on were a bit upset understood why we saved the Star Wars talk for last. As you see, that took up the better part of the 2 hours. But yes, Toxic Femininity is a show for the diversity in the community to be able to shine and let their voices be heard on matters about things we love, such as Star Wars and all those other things that get lumped on them, like only white males are pissed off about things. Well, hello, wait a minute. There's plenty of other people involved here, and you can see 3 of those lovely faces right here with me.
Well, and more important than the diversity of our gender is the diversity of our thought. We don't necessarily adhere to the mainstream narratives. So
Exactly. So we do hope you check us out every Sunday night starting at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. We're going to try and keep this going. I want to thank the lovely ladies. I want to thank you guys out there for being a lovely audience. I know a few people were a little upset at the beginning, and I do hope you guys had fun with my little bit of humor at that. I'm sorry. I just knew this is the way it was going to turn out because this was going to be a very long and extensive conversation. We didn't even get to the main question until near the end here, but I'm going to try and see if we can clip that portion out just for you guys to catch that bit, and we'll see what else we can get out of this. So until next time, I want to thank everybody once again for joining us for Toxic Femininity here on Midnight's Edge.
Proving that the fandom menace isn't just toxic white males, it's Toxic Femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge, with Miss Sarcastic Nerd, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, the mistress of mayhem herself, Miss Mary Mayhem.